Well, that is a nice copper coin, but oh, Doug, do you know what time it is?
45 up.
Who says 45 up, Doug? It's quarter after. What's up, guys? Court Order here, and welcome to the Thursday night quarter after live stream. It's going to be a fun show tonight. We're going to be recapping our incredible Cape Cod, Massachusetts trip where Dougie and I went up and met our good friend Erik, the Cape Codfather. And of course, we met up with Green Mountain Brad Martin, Steph from Stef Digs, along with our friends Tyler and Erica. And we're going to have Erica, Steph, and Brad Martin all live on the show today. So it should be a fun night. We'll have all sorts of comments, funny laughs, pictures, yada, yada, yada. So it should be a good one. So let me start bringing the guys in and girls in because we've got a heck of a show lined up. And I'll start off with the handsomest of the bunch, Mr. DogTag Doug, Mexican Doug, Jane Fond Doug. How are you, Dougie?
Hello. How you doing?
Doug, you remember when we went up to Cape May, right?
Cape May? No, Cape Cod.
Where were we?
We had a weekend in Cape May one time.
Yeah.
Not you and me, my wife and I.
That's a different show. But no.
Yes, I do remember. Fond
really incredible. I don't know why I always say, "Do you remember?" Like Doug's a total moron and can't remember anything.
Yeah, thanks for painting that picture.
Yeah, but no, I figured Doug remembered.
Yes.
But we found some incredible things. We've got a heck of a highlight reel of all the cool things that both you, I, Erik, Steph, and Brad found. So I want to get into it, Doug, because there's a lot of them. So I'm going to start bringing in some of the other entourage today. We're not going to have Rich, Lynn, or Charlie on today, only because they weren't there. And I didn't want to have a Hollywood Squares of 9,000 heads.
Yeah.
So
we hope we see him in the chat, though.
Yeah, hopefully. But this will be the extended crew. And we'll start off with our host of the trip, the Cape Codfather himself, Mr. Erik. I don't know his last name. Anyway, we don't do last name. We only go by aliases here, Erik.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, we're going to get into, once I bring Steph and Brad on, we'll get into, basically Erik orchestrated this whole trip. He put all the properties together. He provided the lodging, everything. So,
yeah,
all the videos I got out of it, Brad, Steph, we all owe Erik, a great deal of gratitude. He put it together start to finish.
It was a great time. This is our second trip that we've done, and adding Brad to the mix was I think it was the perfect add, and I couldn't ask for better people to detect and hunt with, and we just had a great time and a lot of fun and a lot of laughs.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good crowd. Everybody gets along. Everyone busts each other's chops equally, which makes for a fun weekend.
Yeah, it does help that everybody gets how we act and have fun together.
Doug's so immature; it just makes it really difficult to coordinate groups. So luckily they got it. But let's bring in some more of the crowd. We'll bring in the lady of the evening. Oh, that didn't sound good.
Already.
The lady of the group. Jeez.
Yeah.
Lovely Stef Digs. How are you?
Great intro. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
He knows how to demean.
The lady of the evening.
The lady of the night. That would be terrible.
I didn't mean it that way, Steph.
It's dodgy, but it works.
No, it should be good. Teresa, the treasure hunter, and Wicked Digger, my two moderators, both in here. Thank you guys for showing up. But Steph, what a good hunt this was. We had to push it back twice because of inclement weather. And then the weekend we made it up there. I mean, could we have asked for a nicer weather, better digging properties? I mean,
perhaps on the last day, just in terms of the weather, because some parts of the yard were so frozen that I couldn't get to some good signals. Yeah. But for the most part, it was really good weather. The ground was actually thawed, which it was not in Connecticut at the time. So I hadn't dug in 6 weeks, which is the longest rip that I've had without digging in a long time, probably 6 years. 2019 was a bad winter. So this was an equally bad winter. And thankfully, Erik was there to save the day so that we could all go up and dig some wonderful stuff in the ground and make some awesome videos.
No, I agree. I mean, we've been fortunate where Doug and I are. It hasn't really gotten that cold, but I know you and Brad are snowed in terrible. And the ground was a little frozen. You know, my shovel was able to get right through it, but I know Brad's Dollar General shovel crumbled a few times. But he carries 4 of them in his trunk, so it worked out.
He's backstage waiting to bust your chops.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to get that one dig in before I bring him in, so he couldn't say anything back.
Yeah, because you're scared of him.
Yeah, but let me bring him in, the handsome and charismatic gentleman of the evening, Mr. Green Mountain Brad Martin. How are you, Bradley?
Oh, what's up, Quarter Hoarder Nation? Do you have a name for your audience that I can
No,
address them by?
Okay, we'll go.
Quarter Hoarder Nation then.
We'll go with the nation. The nation of domination.
The nation.
We'll call them that. But like Steph said, Brad, you that was your first time hunting, between winter and your illness in what, 4 months?
It wasn't quite that long. I think I went on New Year's Eve. So it was a couple months. Well, it was like the February 28th that we went, the first day 1. So yeah, it was about 2 months. I didn't
2 months. All right.
Yeah.
I always like to over embellish. It makes things sound better, Brad.
I mean, 2 months is a long time.
That is a long time. That is a long time. And no, it was a great weekend, and we got I got 3 videos. I mean, there's been between all of us 5 videos so far of some remarkable finds.
For sure.
Where I think it's safe to say for at least the first 2 days, Steph, Brad has been dominating the remarkable finds.
He was doing all the heavy lifting.
But day 3, I think we got a little revenge on him. Day 3,
it's true. Yes.
Day 3,
Granted, I left halfway through, but
I tried to keep that out.
Whatever your excuse is,
He had to leave early for us to catch up.
Brad
It
left
was impressive. Brad, it was impressive.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
Yeah, any time where Brad doesn't show up, we just dominate him. But I'm going to start the little slideshow. We're going to get onto it because, man, there was a lot of things found. So let me start this little shindig here. Let me bring it up. So, Erik, I'll let you kind of talk about it. Like I said, you coordinated all this. This was the first. It was actually the second house we did, but it was the first house that we started finding stuff. So we stayed all day. Can you give any little background on this? Because It's going to come up later in the show with a specific find that Brad found.
Absolutely. So this obviously is a home. I'm not going to give the address, of course. It's located in Marston's Mills, Massachusetts, which is located on Cape Cod. I believe this house was built in 1780. Is that correct, Jay? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't live there.
I believe it was built in 1780. It was owned by Mr. John Marston, and at one point, obviously, the town was named after him, Marston's Mills. It's just a beautiful property. Great owners. Apparently, the owners also are the people that invented TiVo, the original TiVo.
Yeah, that's what the guy told me. He said, because I asked him because I'm very brazen. And I said, I'm just curious, like, what's this guy do to afford this big $1 million mansion on 80 acres? Not that it's any of my business, but I just asked anyway.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, they invented the original TiVo and, selling off the patents and whatnot. They were able to afford a couple. And you probably could give the address out because it's an Airbnb. The caretaker said, yeah, you can put it up there because they try to rent it all year round.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know the exact address off the top of my head, but it's on Catuit Road in Marston's Mills. So if you want to do an Airbnb, it is a beautiful home. Unfortunately, this picture doesn't show the backyard that overlooks a private pond, and there's ducks and geese and everything out there. And it's quintessential Cape Cod early colonial homes. And it's just, if you look at the size of the trees out front, it's impressive and it's old, and it's just another beautiful home here on the Cape.
That was a lovely home. And they were really nice to us all day, very gracious. And we found a lot of stuff. Let's jump into some of the stuff we found because it was a heck of a first day up in the Cape. Find number 1 was from the handsome and charismatic Mr. Brad Martin. And he started the day off with that beautiful little buckle, Steph. Do you remember, I thought it was like a knee buckle, but then in watching Brad's video, I thought he alluded to possible children's shoe buckle, Brad.
Yeah, it didn't have like a whole lot of curvature to it, like we would expect to see on a shoe buckle. So possibly knee buckle, but truth be told, Steph said maybe baby shoe buckle. So I said, yeah, maybe she would know.
I say knee buckle on that because, it's like, what am I trying to say? Where the pins are in that photo, it's like it's on the pin terminals are on the shorter sides. So that's why I'm leaning knee buckle, probably mid to late 1700s. So right in the wheelhouse of, when the home was built for sure. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, same time period. It was like, that was one of the first things I found on that property. And it was like right away, it's like, all right, there's going to be some good stuff here,
Yeah, that's the first house we went to in the morning. We were there for about an hour, and you can tell at a house within the first 20 minutes if you're going to have a whole day of it or not. And we knew that house didn't work out, and this house with Brad's find and a few more you're going to see, really early on, we pretty much camped out there and had a great day.
Yep.
So that was Brad's
return on that.
And I got a little shot there. Brad knows I'm a sucker for a blurry Brad photo.
Look at the bokeh.
Yeah, every opportunity I get, I take a blurry Brad picture.
Yeah. I haven't seen that picture yet. That's a great one. I like that one. It really shows the buckle. Nice.
Oh, I was trying to show Brad.
My face is supposed to be in focus, and the buckle's supposed to be out of focus.
When people comment about the Brad's picture blurry, I always say, no, Brad's naturally blurry.
That's right. Like Bigfoot.
I'm surprised you didn't frame his face with the buckle.
Well,
an opportunity missed right there.
I know. I could have did something like that. Maybe later.
We need a new videographer.
Yeah. But that was the kickoff the day. I think Find 2 was by Erik. All these pictures, what I do is I go frame by frame because it's in 4K, and I look for like the most goofy, embarrassing photo, and that's the one I use because that's what makes it funny.
Oh no, what's coming for me? I'm terrified.
No, you'll see. There's some stuff. So it's not like this find. Erik was like, "Oh my goodness!" But that's what I was going for. But this was Erik's first find after the knee buckle, and he got that beautiful dandy button, Doug.
Wow, yeah.
I think on this property there were like 3 or 4 nice sized dandy buttons. Yeah. One of my favorite sort of colonial items to find. But Erik kicked off the day with the beautiful dandy button.
You always hope when you get that dirty dandy button that it's going to have a GW when you clean it off. So it gets your adrenaline going.
One day.
Brad, one day. You guys have a GW button yet? I didn't think Brad had one yet.
I do.
I do not have a GW button, but I do know a couple gentlemen, not too far from me who have multiple. So they're in the area. I just haven't happened to find one yet.
I'm sure they're in the area. Yeah. I mean, like Doug said, these very well could have been. It's just luck of the draw. So Erik's dandy button. Then Doug.
Oh, there's a handsome guy.
It looks like it's farting in my general direction.
I'm not sure what that face was.
What? I am not flatulent.
Yeah, Doug was just.
That is not true.
He was in pain over this find. But no, DogTag Doug joined in also. We got these dandies right off the bat, Doug, real early on.
Yeah, I went pretty quiet after that.
And this is the find where, Brad was looking at the dandy button first. And as I walked up, I said, "Hey, Brad, what did Doug get? Is any good?" And Brad did one of these. He's like, "Meh, not that good."
Not that good. I did say.
I love Brad's dry sense of humor.
He's got a high bar he works with.
Is Buzzkill Brad?
Yeah,
I love his dry sense of humor. But to be fair, when Brad found a dandy button, he wasn't like super thrilled about his own dandy button.
Yeah.
So I tried to get him motivated. I tried to psych him up.
I think it's all about what you find at home, right? And I find dandy buttons, multiple every trip out to these types of places. And I actually have a clip that I don't think we'll ever see the light of day, but Jay and I are talking about it. And he's like, you don't get excited about these things? I'm like, no, not really. But then you said that you find like the innards of shoe buckles like a dime a dozen. And I was like, you were saying that you don't get excited about those. And I was surprised.
No, it's not that I don't get excited. It's just that I guess for me, if I find the outer frame of a shoe buckle, I'm much more excited than if I find the inner guts, because I don't know, the inner guts to me is on a closer wavelength to like a D buckle, where I'm like,
Wow.
like, where's the nice?
Well, that's the difference then. Pretend that was the innards of a shoe buckle for me, and that you can see where I'm coming from.
I just like, because every dandy button is different. A lot of them are hand worked. It could be George Washington. Like I just I geek out over the dandy buttons. Steph, you geek out over the dandy buttons, don't you?
To a point, but it has to be at this point. I'll sound snobby, like Buzzkill Brad over here. It has to be really fancy and in really good condition for me to get truly amped up about it. Or it has to have a little chicken hawk on it or a GW. But that's only happened once for me. So
all right, Erik, you don't have a GW button, do you?
No, I don't have one yet. But I'm kind of in the same boat with Steph. Just because of where we live. We do find quite a bit of dandy buttons. So
I'm not like a pauper that lives on like some deserted island. I find a lot of them too.
Yeah,
but I'm saying I still get excited over it.
Yeah. I do too, especially that initial wipe. But if I don't see anything that's saying GW or something to that effect, it's a quick wipe, throw it in, let's go again.
All right. I mean, we agree to disagree on the dandy buttons. I don't know. I get excited over them. But anyway, dandy number 2 for DogTag Doug, Mexican Doug, Jane Fond Doug. And then there's Brad's dandy button, which I couldn't even get like a good, solid photo of it because Brad's like, yeah, I got this. And then just kept on going. Like, I was like, wait a minute. So this is as best I got, slightly out of focus unintentionally because he was just kind of like, on to the next one.
Yeah, I actually threw it back in the hole.
No, you didn't. So I got it coming up later. Don't you lie to me. But I thought that was a super cool find. So 3 dandies within the first 20 minutes. And then things started to really get good. This next clip, I'm gonna make it full screen because there's some audio. So everyone, if you don't have your sound up, put your sound up. All right, you ready? I'll pause it when it's over. All right, I think we maybe hit a little hot pocket here. Steph is screaming, hot pockets. Hot pockets. Steph's got something. All right, let me come back in again. Now, I was only doing it because you needed some context. You needed some context because, I thought I put it in there because I just thought it was funny. Brad made the reference to Hot Pockets, and I had to put it in there. So, Brad commented on the video, and he said, a little known fact, Jason and I actually worked many years ago in my youth and wrote the musical jingle for the original Hot Pockets commercial, and came to find out that Jason was the vocalist, full circle. Now, obviously, Brad was kidding. Obviously, Brad was probably 5 years old when that.
Yeah, I was. I was 9. I was 9.
I was 9 years old. But Doug.
But he was a musical prodigy.
Yeah, maybe.
He may have been. I'm not disputing that.
I mean, that jingle was obviously sung by a woman.
Yeah, it was obviously sung by a woman. Brad was like single digits in age.
Right.
But because of his comment, both Brad and I got inundated with people asking, oh my God, really? You guys did that? Can you send me a link to the commercial? Like, they really thought that we were the creators of the Hot Pockets commercial.
Wow.
And the first 2 or 3 I got, I explained that Brad was joking. And then all the ones after that, I didn't even respond.
Yeah.
Just like they can Google, Brad Martin Hot Pockets commercial and see what comes up.
That might start trending.
Yeah, it was added to my Wikipedia.
I love it. I loved it.
Now, of course, I also put this little picture in. Doug. I don't know if
it was so funny when I was watching it back.
A Hot Pockets break.
I only put it in for like a second and a half at the end of the clip. I didn't know if anyone was going to catch it.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to reference it, which I always find those Easter eggs are the best. So, obviously I photoshopped a hot pocket and bring it back to
Looks like a
That
steak
must
and
have taken a lot of time going in between each finger like
It
that.
took me about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The things we do.
So listen, you can't go high enough for a cheap laugh.
Yeah, that's right.
I put it in there mostly for Brad because I knew Brad would see it.
Yeah.
And get a hot pocket. So I thought, oh well, maybe no one will notice it. But oh no. Somebody actually emailed Brad. They made their own little Photoshop of like Brad in the mountains, like with the hot pocket. And what is that thing hanging from your waist, Brad?
I have no idea.
Oh, I didn't know if you knew what that was.
It's like a skateboard.
So I think there's memes going around the internet now of Brad with like a hot pocket, like with a big smile on his face, holding a pepperoni and cheese hot pocket.
I
Showdown.
hope it keeps going. I really do. Be
He
great
uses
where we
he
can get
uses
Brad
it as a
hot pocket.
hand warmer until he's ready to eat.
Pepperoni and cheese.
Yeah, there was I have a comment. Brad put a comment on this guy's post. It says, forget gold. The real treasure is a piping hot pocket after a long day of fruitless beeping. Its molten core warms you better than any found to bloom. Why sift through dirt when you can savor the mystery meat and questionable cheese blends? A true mountain delicacy for the discerning treasure hunter.
Wow.
The best part is questionable cheese blend by far.
I like the questionable cheese.
The comedic Brad is coming out.
See, we're a good influence on him, Doug.
Yes, we
We're
are.
a good influence on him. It was, and listen, I don't know the guy who posted it. He might be the most great guy in the world, but when Brad posted the comment, it was the only comment. It was like 3 people looking at it.
It's golden.
And Brad's got this paragraph comment.
Well, when he sells an idea, he really sells it.
Yeah.
Yeah. T-shirts coming out next week.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to do something with the hot pockets. I wonder if the copyright patent date is expired on them.
Yeah.
If they're still good.
Like, no.
Yeah, you can take your Green Mountain logo and all the mountain peaks, make them into a hot pocket.
That's right. They have the logo inside of the patented crisping pouch. You know what I'm
There
talking
you
about?
go.
A little cardboard thing.
Oh yeah, you have the little sleeve. You have to. Put
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So there we go. We gave hot pockets a cheap plug for free, like I do with the Paron. Every video I plug the Paron for no
Yeah,
reason.
affiliate link in the description below.
Yeah. Now hot pockets. We're
No, what you need is 6,000 lumens or whatever the heck it is.
yeah. Oh, Doug, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start in the videos saying that we're sponsored by Hot Pockets.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? Like, we're just going to say that.
You may get a call from their lawyer.
Well, I mean, hey, any advertising is good advertising.
Yeah.
All right, so there was Brad's hot pocket. The next find from the lovely Stef Digs. Now we got on it. The hot pocket reference was because I said
Hot pockets.
at the moment Steph had to find, you had to find, Doug, and Brad had to find all at the same time, and I said, "Oh, we must be in the hot pocket." And
Right.
then Brad sang the jingle, and that just
We got the joke.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I try to break it down for
No.
I break it down for the people that don't know what hot pockets are.
Okay.
So Steph's find was this little piece. Now,
Very interesting.
I thought it was really cool because it was like a double hearts upside down. Steph, have you made any sort of guess as to what this might actually be?
I mean, it's a finial for something. That's about all I've got. Most of what we found that day obviously was left with the property. So don't know. Didn't really research it much further because I just figured it's kind of like maybe Victorian at the earliest, just because it seems to be made out of like a pot metal, as opposed to necessarily solid lead or solid pewter or something like that. So I haven't really gotten any further in figuring out what it is. I got a few comments also agreeing with me on my video, which was some kind of finial. So that's about the best I could figure. But it was interesting enough to film. I love the weird stuff, so that was pretty cool.
No, I like the oddball stuff too. I like the stuff that's one of a kind sort of a thing. Clem Fandango in the chat has no idea what a hot pocket is, Doug.
You're kidding.
That's what he said. Is Clem
What's
Fandango?
grocery store?
I think Clem's from overseas, right?
Oh, okay.
I think it's from
Tell him
overseas.
it's a toad in the hole.
Yeah, Clem, I'll send you a coupon for $1 off Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
Let me follow my.
Send them your affiliate link to the.
So let me see. After that, this was another find from Steph. There's no audio here. I'm just she's swinging over my coil, but Steph got this little button. Back-to-back finds from Steph. Now you said the dandy buttons that are 250 years old, you just throw in your bag and don't care. But this button that's probably from the 1950s, you were doing cartwheels in the field. How do you explain that?
Again, it was different. And actually, now I don't know how accurate this research is, so take it with a grain of salt. But everything I could find about it online is actually it's a British military button. It is not a user button, which surprised me. But I'm still not 100% because I'd like to actually see that in a textbook versus like Worth Point or whatever the heck sources are online, because those are very unreliable. So I don't think I mentioned in the video, hey, this actually turned out to be a military button, because unless I'm 100% sure, I don't like to make IDs like that. I'd rather have the audience fill me in if they can. So it was cooler than I thought, and I haven't dug one like that before.
That's fair. I like all that. I mean, it just has so much detail on it too. All the lines like in the background, it really held up well. So that's a cool find. Would I prefer a dandy button? Personally, yeah, but I know how you guys feel about
fancy dandy over that all day. I would still take a fancy dandy over that.
Oh, okay.
I have a propensity to find plain dandies, especially at a couple of particular sites I've been working recently. A lot of them are plain, which is kind of boring to look at after 250 years because the gilding or the silver wash is gone. So you're left with just a plain button that's bigger than usual. And those, to me, I'm like, okay, it's, whatever. But if it has a nice fancy pattern on it, I would take the dandy over this to clarify.
I thought it was super
Not
nice.
me.
You'd rather have that? I know you would.
Oh, exponentially so. Yeah,
really?
I mean, it's way better.
Well, it's a better talking point for a video. 100%.
Well, it's a thing. It has a meaning to it, and you can look it up, and you can probably figure out who owned it based on the property you found it on.
Yep.
So
the dandy button is like, could be, it's nothing. It's a little sheet of brass.
Wow. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna kick Brad out. I'm just disgusted. No. Well, I mean, listen, we'll agree to disagree on the buttons. I'm really offended, Doug. I love that.
We could tell.
I like it. I think it's unique.
I love anything that we could talk about. I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
All right, let me find my order here. Where am I? Oh, okay. Now I didn't find a lot in these hunts, Doug, because
something like at home, huh?
Wasn't my day, but I did get up. Well, I just went past them.
Wow.
Let me go back only because I got 2 Indian pennies. This was my oldest of the 2, 1868.
Wow, you could be in a Hoover Boys video.
Well, I don't know what that even means, Doug, but
it's a video if he finds it.
But for about 3 hours, I was the leader for oldest coin of the day. And that feels darn good when you're with this crowd, when you're the leader.
Well, that melded pretty quick.
Well, it did. I said for a short, brief time, I was oldest coin of the day with that Indian. And then I did have this
another
other
Indian.
This one was a little newer. So, but the next the next find was Brad's. I didn't pause it. Let me go back.
He was thinking of those Hot Pockets.
Just look at the faces. Look at the faces I froze.
I want that Hot Pocket.
Brad's just like so happy to be there, and
but I wonder what Steph is saying. I really wish I could hear her right now.
Not sure. You might not. You might not tell you.
No idea.
But this was an incredible find. So Brad had every right to have a big smile on his face.
Oh yeah.
He called me over, and I saw this butter spreading knife, or I didn't really know what it was.
It's a butter knife.
And he tells me first it's marked sterling. Then he tells me it's got a name on one side, and then he tells me it's got a different name on the other side. So it just started getting better and better and better. Up on the handle is where it had one of the names. There's this mark where you can see it says Sterling on the base of the blade. And Brad, it's hard to see if I don't have a better picture. Can you see up here, Brad, above the Sterling? There was something when I was editing my video. There's more writing up here. Did you happen to catch a better glimpse of that in your video?
Yeah, it's the maker. It's N. Matson Co.
Yeah.
Oh, what did it say?
N. Matson Co. I looked it up on the spot, and he was a silversmith. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head. I said it in my video. It was late 1800s.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't remember seeing it in the moment, but I saw it when I was editing it very faintly. And then, of course, this is the two names that I put together. And what makes, I'm going to have Brad tell this story more so than me because it's really fabulous. But when Brad originally called me over, Brad and I both thought it said Goodwin on the top and Grace on the bottom. We thought it was a woman's name, Grace Goodwin. And then somebody said, oh, it might say Grace and Goodwill. I think Doug may have said that, or the property owner.
Yeah.
And then, kind of lets the wind out of the sails a little bit because then you're thinking, oh, well, maybe it's more mass produced and it's just like a goodwill gesture. But from Brad's extensive research with the help of some viewers out there, Brad, can you clue us in on more information on this incredible old butter knife?
Yeah. So when I initially found it, I thought it said Grace Goodwin, and throughout basically the whole day, we spoke about it many times with the groundskeeper, and then in my video and probably in your videos too, we kept on referring to this knife as the Grace Goodwin knife. But then we were all kind of huddled up at the end, and the idea was brought up that maybe it wasn't Goodwin, it was Goodwill, and it was just like, oh man, that's like so much, that's like not cool at all. Yeah, it's like, oh man. And consequently, like when I was editing my video, I was like, well, I got to take out all of that, all of those many minutes we were talking about how it could be Grace Goodwin, because it's not, it's just Grace Goodwill. And then time went on, and somebody, his name was Doug, messaged me, and he was like, hey, I think he said his brother was researching, he was familiar with that home, and he found some records in the town records, I guess, about like the ownership of that house over time. And it turns out, I believe it was 1895, a gentleman purchased the home and gifted it to his daughter, Grace Goodwin. Babbitt, I think, was maybe Goodwin was her middle name or like her mother's name. I'm not sure exactly where the Goodwin came in, but her name was Grace Goodwin Babbitt. And so she and her husband owned and lived in the home in 1895. So it was Grace Goodwin. It was her knife, and she lived and owned the home in 1895. It's like, what's better than that, And I was able to like write the groundskeeper and be like, hey, guess what? That Grace and Goodwill knife is actually, directly connected to the house, and now they can put it in the shadow box and charge $50 extra a week.
I can't believe the groundskeeper never heard of her. If that's like an old owner of the house.
Well, he emailed me back. He said that he was familiar with this lady's husband, the Higgins, but he wouldn't have known
the
maiden name or her middle name, or even any of her names. He would have known the Higgins name, so he was familiar with the Higgins. And I think that he even mentioned that they built an addition. They built a bunch of stuff on the property, and I think he actually lives in one of the additions or something to that effect. So,
yeah.
Hey, Brad
sent me this yesterday. He actually located Grace Babbitt, who was Grace Goodwin, her tombstone on Find a Grave. So.
Yep. I looked her up on Family Search, which is like a free website where you can do like genealogy. And I found her, and then I consequently found her grave, which was in the town that we were in, in Marston Mills. And it seems like, what it says, she died like 1952. Yeah. And she had many children. She had like 4 or 5 children, and they all died like 20 years ago. So her grandchildren are still hanging around, I'm sure.
Hey, Brad, do you think that maybe that could have been a wedding gift or something?
I don't know if it could be a wedding gift. She was gifted the house for her wedding in 1895. So it's possible, if they had like the wedding on the property or something.
Yeah.
We initially thought that maybe it was like a wedding thing because we thought maybe there were two surnames, like Grace and Goodwin were like two different last names, like the two marrying family names, but it was just one. It was just hers.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it was cool because, like you said, all day we thought it was Grace Goodwin, which is just super cool. And then we felt this deflated feeling when we thought it was Grace and Goodwill, and it's hard to see. It's old, it's fading, but then it came full circle, and it truly is Grace Goodwin. Right. And he even tracked down the genealogy, and I thought it was amazing. It makes that piece become, maybe the best piece of the day.
Yeah.
If not for another piece that Brad found coming up shortly.
And to the credit of whoever said it was Goodwill, I actually made a post on my Facebook page being like, which do you think it is? Right.
I saw you had hundreds and hundreds.
And there were hundreds of comments, and many of them, I don't think it was 50-50. It was probably like 20-80. Many of them thought it was Goodwill because it's hard to tell, the N and the L's, double L's. It's very difficult to tell, but
never mind with the word Grace on the other side.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a tough one. It's because it could just be like, and
there's periods after the names. You can see it says Grace period, Goodwin period. Doesn't make any sense.
Right. And back then they were more inclined to have religious feelings.
Sure.
And Grace and Goodwill are just a natural combination.
Yeah, all the name. Like if her name was like Brenda Goodwin, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, because her first name is
to Brad's credit, to put that much time and effort into getting the fact, like I said, that a lot of credit to him.
Oh yeah, he did get help.
Somebody reached out to me for sure.
Yeah.
But Brad still had to research it and make sure that person was correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So he still had to go down that rabbit hole.
We had a comment in the chat that you might want to hear from Meta Comet. I don't know who this is, but they say, thank you guys for giving everyone an update on the knife from the Marston house. I'm glad that it will stay on the property. That's so awesome. So
yeah, that's good. Now, I don't know. Is that the groundskeeper?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. If it is, though, thank you for the comment. And yep, it is there with the property. And like you said, it's an Airbnb. You can go rent the property for a week and visit the knife.
See it for yourself.
Yeah, it's on display.
So awesome find there from Brad. One of the coolest finds of the day. But there was more cool finds, including the very next one, which was found as we were still filming the knife. The host of the event themselves called us over with his hands up in the air, hooting and hollering. So we all went over to see what the Cape Codfather had. And there's that grin of like, oh man, I just scored something good, or I'm constipated. It's the same grin. It's the same grin. But no, he scored something good. And look at that nice, dirty cap bust. I couldn't even tell if it was a dime or a half dime. It was hard to tell because we hadn't found much coins that day. I forgot what a dime looked like. But no, we sprayed it down, and look at this beautiful thing, Doug.
Oh, it was
1834 cap bust, full dime. Erik's first cap bust ever. Erik, how'd that thing make you feel? Because you were grinning from ear to ear, brother.
I really was. My first silver I ever found, I found in Pensacola, Florida. It was a barber quarter. So that's a great way to start off your thing. But this is a coin. The cap bust has just eluded me for a long time. I just couldn't get over one, or I was over one and didn't recognize what it was. And it was a relief to get that little sucker. And I'm very happy with it. I was very shocked when I saw those stars on the side there.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And I was trying to I didn't know what it was, so I was going to try to guess what it was in my hand. So I just picked up a dirt ball and I'm like rubbing it, and then I hear Steph saying, "Don't rub it, don't rub it." I was like, "Oh, must be something good."
Yeah.
Because if it was a dandy button, Steph would be like, "Yeah, you can squeeze it and crumble it up and do."
Skip it across the street.
Yeah, you can skip it and bang it on your head.
Let's throw it in the pond. Skip it across the pond.
Well, the funny thing is, it was in that one little area of the yard that had that longer grass. I mean, everything else was pretty much mowed. But that longer grass area, it wasn't easy to swing in there because there were Cape Cod, I don't know if a lot of people know, has a lot of vines and stickers and thorns, and so if you go into anywhere that's not mowed down, your detector is going to get caught up in all that. And I just heard a tiny little bleep, and something it just sounded right. It had that little sharp edge to it, and I stayed with it, and it was down there. But it was a hard-earned coin.
That's a great one. I mean, we our whole group. I mean, we might average one or two for the whole year of any cap bust coin. So, Steph, Brad, how many do you guys average approximately a year on any cap bust coins?
Well, I've been metal detecting for 10 years,
Wow.
And I have found 2.
Oh, and 2. Oh, so 1 every 5 years.
Sounds like it. Yep.
What were the 2 you found? What were the denominations?
I have a dime and a half dime.
Oh, so no quarter or higher yet.
Not yet.
Steph, what about you, Steph?
I have 2 half dimes. I've been digging for 8 years.
No full dimes. Oh, so this was the first time you held a freshly dug full dime.
Oh, no, I have a great story about that, though. So Nicola and I, who couldn't make this trip, unfortunately, she was working. Otherwise, she would have been there. But we were at a local field that I had just had some success at. So I said, "You want to come out? Let's go digging." And I pulled the Jeep up 30 feet away from a capped bust dime that she dug.
Oh, so she got one.
I got a consolation prize, though. I did get a Walking Liberty $50, but it wasn't quite the same.
Oh, it's not quite the same. I mean, it's still nice though.
But yeah, it's beautiful. So I get to play with it all the time if I want to. Sometimes I'll go in her office and just look at it.
Do you move it from her display case to your display case and see if you notice?
I don't have a death wish, so I think that I'm gonna leave it exactly where it is. But yeah, no, it's an incredible condition. I mean, it looks almost uncirculated. It's really, really beautiful. So yeah, sometimes you win some, you lose some. I lost that day, but she was stoked. So
yeah, there's Eric's again. I like a blurry Erik, like I like a blurry Brad. So awesome coin there from Erik. Congratulations. Again.
Are you going to ask me if I ever found a cap bust?
Well, people have seen our videos. They've seen us find them.
Well, they didn't. No, they didn't see
right there.
Oh, is that it, Erik?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. It's in a holder, so I do apologize.
Hold on.
There she is.
Let me see yours first. Oh, there's the one you just found.
Yeah, this is it.
I see it. And then here's the one Doug found.
Nope. Doug's looks like a frisbee.
Yeah.
It's a 50-cent piece.
No.
And it came out of the ground like it came out of the mint.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've never found a half, but I've dimes and half dimes and a piece of a cap bust quarter. But I don't know if I count that.
Yeah.
Does anyone have Drape's bust silver?
No. Where do you think we are?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a half dime.
I remember that. I remember your thumbnail. Yeah. Brad, do you have a Drape bust silver?
No.
Those
it's
are
a
like
unicorn. I never even put it on my bucket list because I did not think I'd find it. I thought I was more apt to find tree coinage than draped bust or earlier American silver. That just doesn't come up very often. So it's very ugly. It's very worn, but I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. I'd imagine so. All right, let me see what else we got here. Let me find where I left off. I'm trying to follow my notes so I know what's.
The big kahuna is coming up like right now, I think.
No, there's still a couple.
Okay. All right.
Now this
I
one,
thought I had won the day, and then Brad, took that right over.
This one I love the face that Erik was making. That's why I snapped this still. I don't know. It's almost like he's about to sing, "Come on, my baby, come on, my honey, come on, my ragtime gal."
And then I'm like, "What are you doing? Why are you filming me?" I don't know what I'm doing here.
But anyway, I called Brad over because Erik found a dandy button, which happened to be the exact same dandy button that Brad found. And
wow,
like I said, the dandy buttons, I know not only do I love them, but they're always, like Steph said in the video, always unique. They're always different. And then Erik made a liar out of us and found the exact same one that Brad found. I'm surprised Brad still had it and didn't throw it in the garbage at this point. Well, he still had it in his case, and we got a picture of him together. And then this picture's out of context, but Brad was congratulating Erik on his dandy button.
Right.
Looks like they're ready to arm wrestle.
We're ready to skip him over the water.
This picture's totally out of context. I just thought it would look good after the button. No, because Brad could care less about his dandy button.
Yeah.
All right, let me keep going here. The next one, this one I liked a lot. So Brad, Doug was clearly also constipated, but Doug got
not the next day.
I thought this was really cool. Doug found this dirty circle.
Oh yeah,
I found a lot of those,
and I cleaned it up. And now this is what I saw when I cleaned it up. I'm going to make it full screen because I'm going to play something in a second.
Yeah, what do you see in the picture?
Yeah. Now, what do you see? Now, Brad, I don't know if you were there, but do you or do you not see a human being's face in that photo?
Yes.
Well, I did not see this at all in person. The first time
You
I
didn't?
saw it was in the video,
Okay.
and I can see the face facing right with the eye and the nose and the
Sure.
chin and everything.
Whoops.
But I feel like it's not. I think that's just.
You think
I
it's
don't
just
think
like
that-
looking in the clouds and
Yeah,
seeing?
yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not a very good face.
No, it's not very good.
It's
And
evil.
Steph, but you see the face that we thought we saw in this picture, right?
yeah. And I remember we were standing in the field, and you were asking me, prompting me like, "Hey, don't you see a face?" And I was giving a very lackluster reaction. So after the camera's cut, Jay is showing me the footage to say like, "Hey, look at what we actually saw." Though I said, "All right, I do see that," but my opinion is that it's what did I say that it might be? I didn't say it was abalone. It's not abalone shell. It's
You
not,
said it was mother of pearl, maybe.
Mother of
yeah,
pearl.
maybe that because that hole in it too, that has nothing to do with the design. So I'm thinking that just over time the ground has kind of ruined the face of it.
Eaten away.
Had an image on it at some point, because why would you just have a plain white disc? It wouldn't be much to look at, especially with that fancy like scrolled edge and stuff. So I'm sure it had an image, but it's just been corroded. And like I was saying, I think it might be in both your footage and mine, or your footage. I don't think I caught that on video, where I'm like, it's looking at cloud shapes, just like an explosion or something. That's what it feels like. So
It's like Dolly Parton's face with a lot of hair.
What? What does
Yeah.
that mean?
A little bit of face. Dolly Parton's hair is like everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Well, all that is hair, and that little face encapsulated by the hair.
I still don't know what that means.
we're missing a key feature, but we'll leave that off the show.
Yeah.
Well, it only goes so far down.
Well,
Yeah.
well, let me play, Doug, because after we saw that face, we showed Steph, and Steph was looking at it hardcore and didn't
Yep.
see the face that we saw. And Steph said that she saw what looked like a little pig, not a face at all, which I thought was really weird that if I go back, she sees a little pig where we saw a face. But I think she's on to something, Doug, because I'm going to play it in full screen. If you really look at it close, if you really stare at it, I do see.
That's not how I saw it, but I love Wilbur. Yes. Wilbur!
I thought for sure that was going to be a hot pocket.
Oh my god!
It's the pig that became the hot pocket.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The incredible pig.
I do see the pig. So, yeah, she's right.
That's amazing.
But I'm just so stupid. I don't know why I waste. I'm a grown man, Doug.
Love messing around.
I'm a grown
yeah.
man. I love Teresa in the chat. Teresa knew it was Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. Did you know it was Wilbur, Brad, from Charlotte's Web?
I did not know that. No,
you didn't know that. Yeah, it's an old.
As soon as it started fading in, I'm like, Wilbur.
Yes. All right.
Either there's our boss hog.
It was a Wilbur brooch, Doug. Congratulations.
Yeah.
On the Wilbur brooch. All right. And then after the Wilbur brooch, this is the guy who then called next, which was the last find and the most impressive find of the whole day. So if you didn't see any of the videos yet, Brad called everybody over with this. I'll make this full screen because I really want you to see not only the amazing coin, but the beautiful shot when the sun hits it right there. Brad, that is phenomenal. You said you found them before. Have you found anything even close to the condition of this? And tell people what they're looking at.
No, not even close. So this is a Nova Constellatio. I have found 3 others, and you can barely tell what one side of it is. This one, I said this a couple times during the day. They made silver versions of these, and I thought in a moment that was like, holy smokes, is this a silver one? Because it was just so clean. I've never seen in person a copper one so clean. So it's a 17. What did we decide? 85.
Yep.
Nova Constellatio.
Well, let me cut you off only because I tried to blow it up as good as I could where it didn't get pixelated. I can see the date on it of 1773. No, it's a 3. Can you see the curvature on the last digit in that photo?
I can see the 7 and the 8.
I'll send you well, I don't think they made them in 78. Did they, Steph?
No,
I mean, I think it's 1780 something.
It's either an 83 or an 85, but the way I can tell it's
I see what you're saying. I see. I'm looking at it wrong.
Those scripty US letters for the 1785s, but the 1783s were just like these bold,
blocky US.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue, Brad. I apologize.
Okay. And I never get this fact correct. I believe these were designed as the first decimal coined, right? So instead of like pennies and half pennies, this was like 1 of 100 cents, and they were like pitched to the US government, but then they were shot down, but then they were brought back a little bit later and actually minted in England. I don't know, maybe Steph can correct me on all those facts, but technically I think the Fugio was first and minted here, but this one was designed before the Fugio but released like a year later or something like that. But anyway, regardless, it's one of the first United States coins before the mint opened. And they're pretty scarce, like I said, a handful. And it's the most beautiful I've ever seen.
I agree. I mean, you could go into a coin shop and not find one with as much detail as one that you pulled out of the ground.
For sure.
And I have a picture of the other side. I'm assuming this is the front. And there's a picture of the back, which I don't even know if it's upside down or not because it's a circle image. But both sides, how many old coins do you find where one side looks fantastic and you turn it over and the other side's wiped? But this one, the other side was like a 9 and this side's like a 7. I mean, that's rare on even like an 1850s coin, let alone one from the 1780s. Steph, what do you think about the Nova? Have you found a Nova Constellatio, Steph?
I have. It was so pretty that it made the cover of American Digger magazine in January 2023. It's absolutely beautiful. It's in the top of my curio cabinet. There's like 6 coins up there. And that made the absolute top shelf, front and center.
Steph, just between me and you, was yours better looking than Brad's?
It was less circulated. You're setting up here.
Is that a challenge? Oh,
it might actually. Well, here's what happened. So
I want to get a picture of both of them and have the audience decide whose Nova is better. Because
I'm going to text you right now.
I would love to see it because Brad's, I mean, it would have to be pretty darn amazing to beat out that.
Well,
I'm not saying you didn't do it. I'm just saying that's a high bar.
That's the front.
Might be a high bar, but
That's high bar Brad.
High bar Brad. That's right.
Yeah, the front you're showing isn't even the best picture of the front. I've seen a better picture of that front.
Well, listen, I can only take a picture of it. It was only in my hand for 30 seconds. I had that many pictures to choose from.
Yeah.
I was doing a search. But yeah, so mine was because it was raining out. I was just wiping the dirt. It was leaving such beautiful contrast. And I am sending it right about.
I'll bring it up. I'll load it up at the end of the show and do a side-by-side. But regardless, Brad's was pretty darn impressive. One of the best coins of the day, one oldest coin of the day, one find of the day. So Brad, who, may have been up at the top with Eric's cap bust and my Indian for
you
best.
Should look at it just to get your reaction right now because they just went through.
Okay, I do see it. But Brad, congratulations. And of course, again, there's the other side. And of course, I got to get Boca Brad in there. Look at that shot.
Yeah.
And Doug, I'm proud to say that Green Mountain Brad, as artistic as that guy is, chose my photo for his thumbnail. Not this exact one, but another one. So I'm really proud that he thought enough of my photography work that it was the thumbnail for his video. I was honored.
It was the perfect amount of blur. I had to use it.
Yeah, I don't mess around with that blur. I have got it down packed.
I used one of your bokeh shots too.
I saw you did.
Yeah.
This is both you and Brad. Like if you guys are too in focus, nobody wants to look at it. So a little No, but it just looked good. It really emphasizes the amazing coin there. Mm-hmm. So congratulations again on that, Brad. And then I recorded a whole wrap up of everything, but the video was so long. I cut that out, but there's a shot of all the things that made the video, didn't. Brad found a lot other cool things. I think Steph did too. Go check out their videos. I had to cut them from time purposes, but like this piece down here, Brad found that was really cool. This piece, there was these handles, there was escutcheon plates, all sorts of things. So go check out, of course, Green Mountain, Brad Martin, and Stef Digs. You can see their version of the same day with different finds, different aspects, and things like that. But I want to cue something up real fast. I'm going to remove this for just a second because I want to cue up something.
While you're doing that, hey Brad, you say there's a silver version of that as well?
Yeah, I think there's two different sizes, and the story I always tell is, the copper novas, when you find them in the ground and you try to sell them, maybe a couple $100, right. But the silver versions are like hundreds of thousands of dollars if you were to try to buy one. And
pattern coins, I believe. I don't think they were actually circulated. They're just patterns, meaning it's a mint example, right. I suppose.
And so I found a nova on a lady's farm, and I offered everything I found to her, like I always do to everybody. And she's like, "Oh no, you worked for that. You go ahead and keep it." And I said, "Okay, great." And then like later on that evening, she messaged me and she's like, "Hey, so I Googled that coin and it seems like it might be worth some money." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, you can have it. Yeah, you could, maybe $50 because this came out of the ground." She's like, "Oh, I looked it up and it looked like it was maybe worth like $1 million." I was like, "Oh no, I would have let you know if it was worth $1 million. I promise."
Yeah, we get that. Audrey Girlinghouse has a comment, asked to see Brad's Nova cleaned up. Unfortunately, Brad, like everything else we found, was donated to the property and the property owner. And, most of it, and listen, we all give up things all the time. We're happy to do it. Some things it stings, but it's all there. You guys can go visit it. Brad might go visit it a couple times a year. He misses it more than anyone. But
he has visitation privileges.
Yeah, he can visit it. But I wanted to show you, I grabbed two really short clips from Brad's video of this same hunt, only because I thought these were really funny. So Brad didn't even know I grabbed them. And both of them are just, when Brad calls me over, I don't even realize that I'm like always busting Brad's chops. And I thought they were both really funny. So I'll play it in full screen. They're really short. And hopefully you can hear. I'm going to turn my volume all the way up. Here we go.
There's glass in that. Yeah. What do you think this is, Jay?
This, I think it's a guy. He looks like he digs holes in the mountains.
I have an idea what it is. It'd be awesome.
Oh, it's something awesome.
I think so.
I'm ready.
The other one's even better. The next one.
No, I think maybe it's plated. Hey, Jay, can I get your opinion on something?
Yes, I think the jacket's too tight.
I thought so too.
I don't even remember saying that. I don't remember the whole thing happening. But when I watch Brad's video, like, maybe I'm biased because I know my humor because I said it. But, when Brad says, Jay, can I get your opinion on something? And I say, yes, I think your jacket's too tight.
The best part is that you're tackling it yourself right now.
Yeah, he's the only guy that laughs at his jokes.
It's not true. You do it too.
I'm his built-in laugh track. Yeah.
I did get some mild hate mail for that too. I had like 2 or 3 people saying, Brad's jacket is not too tight.
Well, to be fair, I thought it was hilarious also, which is why I actually incled it in my video. You know what I mean? Right. I could have edited it out, if it like hurt my feelings.
I laughed out loud when I watched it, to be fair. I did.
Yeah, to Brad's credit, like if Brad was offended, he obviously wouldn't
right.
in this video. The great thing about Brad is because his GoPro is recording everything, and then his good finds, he puts his good cameras up. Brad catches a lot of ancillary things. And I think Brad even said tomorrow he's going to be having some bonus things from this hunt on his bi-weekly vlog. So make sure you check that. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to be tuned in. What time is it? Come on, like 8 o'clock in the morning, Brad?
Yeah, I post 8 o'clock every Friday. Right, and tomorrow's, like you said, a vlog. And it's just kind of like a mixed matched. There's no continuity to it. It's just like a whole bunch of clips from that whole weekend. There's a lot of Doug. There's a lot of Jason. Lots of jokes and
that's all I'm good for, really.
All the good stuff was in the videos that have already aired. So it's mostly
this is the beat.
This is filler.
Yeah, there's like lots of dandy buttons and lots of
all that junk, all the junky dandy buttons and stuff. All right, let me bring up part number 2. And Brad, I do not really think your jacket's too tight.
It's all right. It's a small.
GoPro, shut off. GoPro, shut off.
Yeah.
Well, that was part 2. He didn't have GoPro problems in part 1.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so here's house number 2. Again, Erik, can you give a little background on this house? Because these owners were incredibly friendly, even though we only found a few things before we moved to the next house.
Yeah, so this house was built in the mid-1700s, I believe. But the interesting thing is right next door to this house was the Sturgis Library, which is the oldest library in the United States. That was built in 1639, I believe, by Reverend John Lothrop. So this is on some real old ground. Homeowners, like you said, couldn't find a nicer couple. And I actually had the pleasure of helping their son use a detector and try to find some stuff. Yeah, this is an old house that I've been waiting to do for a while. We didn't have a ton of success here, but a couple of the things we found were definitely worth the stop. So,
oh yeah, I found my best find of the whole trip here.
Yep.
And Erica and Tyler, I saw Tyler in the chat. Tyler wasn't here. He joined us later at the third house, but Erica joined us here, and she found something amazing too. So I'll get in. There's only a few things found here before we moved on, but we'll go. We'll dive into them.
Yeah, there was some hot ground there, if I remember correctly. There was a lot of coal in the ground.
There were some hot pockets.
Yeah. Hot pockets.
Right in the front. Now, this was like my first, and this was probably 10 minutes into the hunt. And I called Brad over, and seeing this dirty thing in the hole, Brad looked at it, made a snide comment to me like it was junk and started to walk away. But then he did like a double check and he touched it. And then he thought, oh, it was cool. And he stuck around a little bit because this one really blew me away. So here's what I pulled out of the ground, because Doug, you weren't here yet. You didn't come till later.
Yeah, I was sick.
I pulled this out of the ground, and my first reaction was it was like a dog collar or like a cat, like I thought it might have been something junky. But as I brushed, and Brad saw it in this state and came back, so he must have saw more than I saw in its dirty state. And as I started to clean it up a little bit, I started to see some patterns on the barrels and on the clasps. So I kept cleaning it, and I ended up with this. And I thought, oh man, this has to be something special. But I have no idea what it was. I called Steph over, who gave her best guess, which I was going with, that it was a chatelaine, Steph.
A chatelaine, yeah. And I love that that my one of my only wrong IDs that's made it to film is now forever immortalized.
Well, listen, your guess was at least you had a guess. I didn't even have a guess.
It was just the only thing that threw me off, that I kind of was second guessing, was the fact that the clasp is so huge, because I've never seen one like that. So I'm like, well, maybe it's, a men's, maybe it's later, or, later Victorian. I really didn't know, except that was the only thing I could think of that made any sense whatsoever, and definitely reminiscent of a chatelaine. Absolutely. But that's not what it is.
Well, Steph, forever now, you'll be remembered as Lady Chatelaine.
That could have a lot of
a lot of bad connotation.
Obviously, nobody got the joke. Okay.
I thought the chatelaine was a good guess, and now I know what a chatelaine is, in case you ever find one, Doug, because in my research I was looking them up.
Yeah. At least there's that. Good.
But what it turned out to be, Doug, if you didn't see it, was a Masonic sword belt hanger from like the 1800s. And I have a close-up. You can kind of see them here. There's a little bit of a closer-up one where you can see it attaches the scabbard to the vest as well as to the belt on some of these old uniforms. And then I have a picture of a full belt right there where they hung from these special Masonic symbolic hangers on their – this was like their like dress-up uniform, not like go fight uniform. They're dressing up uniform.
Parade.
So I thought it was fantastic. And, there's a nice close up of the patterns on all the barrels. I was so excited, it could have been junk. Yeah. And that find alone, made the whole trip worthwhile to me. I thought that was just fantastic.
You could have put that in my hand, and I would have guessed for 5 years. I would have never guessed what it was.
I didn't
fishing
know.
Sinker.
What's that?
It's a fishing sinker.
I didn't know what it was. I was going
bicycle chain.
And luckily, in Googling, I found something that looked similar and was able to go down a little rabbit hole. And then, of course, I even was able to do the self bokeh, the blurry J picture.
Impressive.
Which, I just thought, I had to embellish a little bit, but I thought that was super cool. So there was my blurry J picture. So thank you very much.
Great find. It was a great find.
Thank you very much. So after this, Steph had a good find. Like I said, there wasn't a lot at this house, unfortunately, because they were so kind. But Steph had a find that she found this piece, Steph. And now once you realized what it was, now be honest, Steph, because I know you don't like the newer stuff as much as I do. Were you happy with it or were you disappointed?
The only thing I didn't like is that it's a zinc composition. It's a zinc alloy, so those don't hold up very well on the ground. There's nothing that I could have done to it. That side looks pretty nice, especially with the dirt still on it. Didn't clean up fantastic, but it was different. I liked that it was different. It was a good talking point. I like having good talking points in my videos that kind of stray away from the norm, because there's only, like, when I go out to cellar holes and stuff, in the woods. There's only so many flat buttons that you can talk about over time, because you find a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So when you go on a property and you find something like this, it's a nice talking point, and it's something that I had never seen before. So I did like it. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. How's that?
Oh, that's higher than I thought you would have given it.
I mean, honestly, probably closer to 5. But you know what?
Oh.
It was different.
All right. Hey, Jay, I got to tell you, me and Steph talked about this, about 4 or 5 days ago? Steph is the queen of finding the craziest things ever. Like something that no one ever finds, and Steph will find it, and she'll know exactly what it is every darn time. Clog clasp? Who the heck knew what a clog clasp is?
She's good. Our third trip, which my video didn't come out yet, Steph has it released already. So if you go watch the third day on Steph's or wait till Tuesday on mine, Steph found something that, not only did she know what it was, but she nailed the date range. Like, I don't know, she has an encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff.
It's impressive. It's seriously impressive. And we were hunting. We were at Dirt Fishing Adventures the other day. And Steph, what did you pull? You pulled something. I honestly, I forget what it was. Oh, the little tag.
Yeah, it was about the size of a quarter, and it was like an ID tag made out of sterling, and I thought it was so cool. It took me actually not that long to research it. I just looked up Monet silver because that's how it was stamped, and or Monet sterling, and evidently in that they made like baggage and purse ID tags starting at the beginning of the 20th century, but by the 1940s they switched to sterling because of the war effort. And since that has been found, I actually had a subscriber reach out to me via Instagram, and he found her. She died last year. So I reached out to her daughter on Facebook. I'm waiting to hear back from her, but if not, I'll go on to her sister. I didn't start with the sister because she's probably in her late 80s, just like, her sister, who's no longer here, was. So I didn't know if she'd be on Facebook a lot. But the good news is I know the family, and there's a really high likelihood that I can return it. So, and that would be maybe my second return ever, because I don't generally get to do it. I'm usually at colonial sites where they've been long dead for a couple hundred years, and you're not going to figure out who belonged to. So this is pretty cool.
I was super happy this past weekend. My favorite thing, because you had kind of a little bucket list when we were talking. We were out there. That certain things you wanted to find, and man, I tell you what, you just went right down that list, checking them each off the block. And then that last thing, I don't want to ruin your video.
Who cares? I already posted this on my Facebook.
Well, you wanted an arrowhead. There it is. Yeah, look at that beauty.
Really
yeah. Is that a complete one or just the tip of one?
It's a complete one. Yep. You can tell by the concave base there. So that's an actual true like bow and arrow point. A lot of people, when they say they're looking for arrowheads, they're not realizing that part of them, some of them larger ones are spear points or atlatl darts or what they're called. But ones that are this tiny.
Let me see it again, Steph.
Ones that are, like this is a true bow and arrow point. So, a lot of people were identifying it for those in the chat who are into arrowheads and points. Some people were identifying it as a squib-knocket triangle, which is a middle to late archaic piece. So 3,000 or 4,000 years old, maybe. But I'm not sure about that because I don't think they used the bow and arrow that early, but I don't know. I don't know enough about points. I only know enough to be dangerous, so I usually stay away from trying to give IDs on points. But yeah, it was cool. A bunch of those came out. I think at least a dozen or so, and it was not hard to spot, because all the points that came out except for one were quartz, and we just had so much rain. So the surface finds, Jay, you would have had a ball. It's a shame you couldn't be there because it was kind of like your Field of 1,000 holes permission, and there were surface finds everywhere. I found so many cool surface finds. I found a few pieces of silver. So it was a great day.
I saw your Facebook post on it. I saw some of them. I did see that, but I didn't realize. I thought it was the broken tip of an arrowhead.
No, that's complete. But the coolest thing I actually found is a teeny tiny square of brass, and it's a good thing that me with my eyeballs found it because it happens to be a coin weight. from the 17th or 18th.
Oh, I did see that.
So I reached out to my pal Buckle Boy. I actually asked Bill Dancy as well, who is an author that many people are familiar with that writes some reference books. He has a couple of them out. He thought it was an apothecary weight. Buckle Boy is telling me why it's actually a coin weight and where I can find it. So I just need to get to the library because he said the books are extremely expensive to figure out exactly which coin it was for. And the funny thing is, wouldn't it be just heartbreaking if it was actually it matches the weight of a pine tree sixpence, which makes me die inside just a little bit. So close and so far away, but there's a Roman numeral 8 stamped on it. So it's perplexing. They did have 8 pence coins at this time. So it's possible it's a British 8 pence, but I won't know until I actually get to crack open a book. So I'm really looking forward to that research because that's what kind of brings the hobby alive, is being able to go home and research something that you know really not much about. I knew enough to stand there in the field to really look at this carefully and say, okay, is there a marking on here? It's just a random piece of scrap brass. And again, with my eyeballs, thank goodness, because it was quite corroded. It wasn't easy to see. But a raindrop fell on it at just the right time, at the right angle. And I said, ooh, I finally have one. That's so cool. Cool. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. It's going to be yours is bigger than mine.
There's Eric's.
I got one too.
Yeah, it's same exact one. And it's.
But then I got this little sucker too.
Yeah, you beat me on the arrowheads that day.
Yeah, well, you beat me on everything else, girl.
We were all supposed to go, me, Doug, and Brad, but
yeah.
For different reasons, we weren't able to make it. There was a rain date change, and but I'm glad you guys found some cool stuff.
Yeah, I definitely got a great video out of it, so I'm excited to release that one. That'll be out in 4 or 5 weeks, something like that.
Wow. But for this coin, you know, I noticed, Doug, something for you is, you know, it's 1915, but if you look at the name. Wasn't this your old nickname in high school, Doug? The douche of Luxembourg?
That was one of them.
That was a cool coin. It's different. Yeah. I like different.
Only when I was in Luxembourg.
I put in the video A because I thought it was cool, and B I wanted to do the douche of Luxembourg. It was a really long setup. For the small payoff.
Very,
really small payoff. And then the only other super notable find here was from Erica, who always seems to find something super notable. Erica had this coin, which we were all slightly perplexed over because
I wasn't.
Well, I mean, perplexed on you look at that shield and it clearly is like a 2 real. But we were perplexed on, is it legit or was it like a counterfeit? Yeah.
And it felt really light when I first held it.
It felt heavy to me, so that's why
I thought it felt heavy. You thought it felt light. That's what I'm saying. We were all over the place. Brad, how did it feel to you?
I don't know. I still don't think it's silver. It was covered with verdigris.
But did you see? Well, look, here's the picture when she cleaned it up.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Buzzkill Brad strikes again.
Well,
it's still covered with the green verdigris. It doesn't.
But is there silver? I'm colorblind. Is this silver on the left? Is that a silver color over there?
It's silver colored, yeah.
See, my thing was where it was found. Okay, that was pulled in front of that house out of the sidewalk. My only thought, because I thought it felt light to me. My only thought initially was it was a token that they threw during a parade or something like that.
To be clear, I think it's an awesome find. I'm not trying to take anything away from
I know you're not. Yeah, I know.
I would have been.
It was legit.
Regardless of what it is, it's I think it's period.
That's all that matters.
That time period. Yeah.
I've seen it since the cleanup, and I think it's real for sure. I still do.
I think it might be a contemporary counterfeit with like a lot of copper in it.
Yeah. I've actually seen Pistareens of this age come out of the, for those of you who don't know, we all know, but folks at home might not know, we call this a Pistareen. And I've seen them come out of the ground very similar to what it looks like cleaned up now. I've seen a lot of green verdigris on it before. And from what I understand, the people who have found them, the couple people I know that found corroded looking ones, they weigh correctly. So I think they are either 11 or 12% copper. So, and when you're on, I mean, this was kind of at the bottom of the hill. There was a decline to get to this area. So I imagine there was quite a lot of pooling of water over the years. And that's why it was so incredibly corroded, not to mention possibly fire damaged, so a lot of factors going on there. I was shocked that it cleaned up to be what I'm pretty darn sure is silver. But yeah, stranger things have happened. So
yeah, I'm surprised it cleaned up. I mean, as being colorblind, I can't see the verdigris as well as like Brad can see it, but seeing that, I was shocked that it cleaned up to show any silver at all.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I did, like Brad was saying, I did think it was period. If it was a counterfeit, I think it was made at that time period.
Yeah.
But I was shocked that it cleaned up as well as it did. And people in the chat, I put it up for my friend Alan Cleveland, who was like, come on, Brad, call it silver. To Brad's credit, you need somebody I'm like that with Doug. You need someone to be a little more pessimistic because you don't want to just jump to the conclusion that everything you found is authentic and real and rare. And you need that grounding because at the end of the day, you want to be sure what you have. And Brad, he's more pessimistic, but if he says it's silver, he's pretty sure it's silver,
Right. I have found I was fooled by a counterfeit Spanish coin. I thought it was real and it ended up being a contemporary counterfeit, and it had verdigris on it, and I should have known better, but it was just, I was so caught up in the moment. Oh my God, it was an 8 real.
Yep.
And it rang up.
So I tried to stop and take a closer look, and the green, I can't get past the green. And maybe, if they were 10% copper, I guess it's possible that the verdigris can form on a silver coin.
Yeah.
So maybe I wasn't aware of that. So I guess that's possible.
I was just shocked it cleaned up even that well. I didn't think she was going to get anywhere near that sort of a cleanup. So
neither did I. It's incredible.
Kudos to Erica for an incredibly, scarce 300-year-old coin. Even if it is a counterfeit, it's a 300-year-old counterfeit coin. So.
I will, if you don't mind me saying one thing, Erica. So she has Bushwhacking with the Bro is the name of her YouTube channel. I've been hunting with Erica for going on about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. And she can pull some crazy stuff. She's got hammered cobs. She's got, last time you guys were up, she did that 1655 Liard.
Yeah, she always finds good stuff, and she does. And she doesn't goof around as much as we do. So she's detecting more. Where
her and Tyler pulls. I
didn't get to Tyler's yet, but we'll get to that. It's coming up.
Good Lord. Woo.
Yeah, Erica did phenomenal. I think I have a picture of before we left the house. I have one of Brad play that.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, there was a piano on the guy's patio, and Brad was going to play a song, but it didn't work, Brad?
Yeah, none of the keys moved. They were all seized and didn't work.
It was just a show piano.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, it was a real piano, but it's been left outside for who knows how long, and everything just seized up.
I would have loved to have got a video of Doug dancing and you playing some Al Jolson or something.
You should have just had him pretend to play and then,
Yeah.
Well, I did film. I cut it out, but I did have him pretend, and I was singing a song. But there's a fine line between funny and super cheesy, and I crossed into the super cheesy, so I had to cut it.
Frequently do.
Right. No, I'm usually in the. But that was the piano, and again, they were super friendly homeowners, really nice to us all. And there's me and Erica as we actually went to the next house. And this is the house where Brad once again found maybe his find of the whole year. I don't know. We'll see. But this house was another phenomenal spot. So before I jump in, I said Doug wasn't feeling good in the morning. So, I dropped off some of the guys here. We only took 2 cars. And then I went to pick up Doug and came back again. So everyone else had a 20-minute head start on me and Doug. So when I pulled up, I walked out to them and said, hey, how you guys doing? And in that 20 minutes, Erica found this copper ring. She found a barber dime, Steph found a Washington quarter. Tyler had a whole bunch of stuff, including it looks like a Drape. A braided hair large cent. He had 2 Washington quarters, a possible silver buckle, or at least close to a silver buckle. He also had his own barber dime. In that 20 minutes, Doug, they were like a free-for-all of amazing finds in a really small, confined area, too. So when we got there, we really tried to
play catch up.
Tried to play catch up. I got a picture of Tyler with Doug. Thought that was a good shot there, Doug, when we first pulled up. And then just as I got ready to fire up my machine to jump into the party, the Green Mountain metal detecting monster pulled out maybe the find of the year. I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'm going to have Brad talk about it because it really became something super special. So when I walked over, Brad shows me this, which sure looked to me like it was a gold pocket watch. And then when he turned it over, he had already seen it. This was new to my eyes, though.
Amazing.
Some script initials, which I got a closer up photo there. I can never read these. It looks like a B, and then I totally lose it. But Brad, can you give us some background on this find, and then we'll get into all the things you've done, including a full special vlog video. You go ahead and let us know about this pocket watch.
Yeah, so I had quite the learning experience when I found this because I didn't really know anything about watches or timepieces before I found this thing. And when I first found it, I was with you. I thought it was a little pocket watch. And obviously, it's 14 karat gold. Very, very excited about that fact. But, there's monogram on the back, which got me the most excited, right? Because then you get to go down the rabbit hole of who was this person that owned this thing. So in the moment, obviously the inside was all like, water got in there, and it's been in the ground for upwards of 100 years. And so there was like little bits of rust kind of coming out the outer seams. And so I really wanted to open it up like in the moment and see if we could figure out how old it was by like maker's marks and stuff. But there was just no cracking it open, unfortunately. So the day kind of ended just kind of having to guess how old it was, because it's pocket watch. It could be who knows how old.
Sure.
And it's gold and it's got the monogram. So some time went on. I got it home. I was able to take this one home. And so I was able to kind of work on it, and I was able to crack it open. And I think actually Jason was the one that mentioned this, where a lot of times if they were serviced, they would mark on the inside of the case what the date was that it was last serviced. And unfortunately, I don't have like a concrete date of when the thing was made. The case, I didn't know this with either, but the case and the actual movement itself were 2 different manufacturers. Oh, wow. And so, and I guess that's the case a lot of times. And in fact, I found an advertisement for this watch case, and it's in it advertised. You can buy like different priced versions where you have this 14 karat gold case, and then you can buy like more expensive movements. I guess maybe they kept better time or more well-known name brands of these different movements. And so like this is like the middle of the road priced movement, and like there's an extra charge to get it monogrammed if you were to buy it from this ad. And once I got it open, I was able to see a marking of when it was last serviced, and I believe it was, I'm kind of going off memory now from a month ago, but I think it was like 1913 that was serviced last, like the most recent service. So it must have been lost probably shortly after. I'm not sure exactly how often they were serviced. If it was every year or every 5 years.
I think it was every year. I read before.
Yeah.
Generally, yeah.
And, you're assuming the person actually did that, right? I'm sure people would let that lapse.
I'm sure.
Yeah, right. So, it's been potentially in the ground for 110 years. And unfortunately, the movement, like a lot of people, I've actually subscribed to Wristwatch Revival. I don't know if anybody watches that YouTube channel, but a lot of people are like, oh, send it to him and he'll like cleaned it all up, but the inside of it was just exploded because all of the little steel parts rusted and it just kind of fell apart. The watch face itself was plated and all that plating had come off and the watch hands were non-existent. Unfortunately, the little winder up on top just fell off because it was connected to a steel post. So what I was able to do, and actually a viewer reached out to me and they said, hey, here's a similar one on, it wasn't eBay. It was like the Goodwill site. And it was like $8 or like $15. It was like stupid cheap. And so I bought it and it came with a working movement, perfect watch face, watch hands, and it had the original bracelet. I don't know if you have, do you have photos of this, Jay?
I have, let me see.
It's okay. I have it in my hand right now.
Okay. Okay.
So I was able to put it back on, give me a minute here to focus. There we go. Get it to focus on the chain. So you can see the watch hand is actually not where it's supposed to be because the post is gone. And the movement that was in the old one didn't fit. So it was like not quite right. But I was able to take the face and put it on the old, rusted movement. And I lost one of the watch hands because I was like,
it's like spraying
it off at my little workbench over here. And it hit me in the face and then it was gone. Like I spent an hour. Everybody's like, what a joke. The guy who metal detects can't find a little metal watch.
Yeah.
But it's this big and it's a workbench. It's covered with metal filings.
That's incredibly ambitious too, Brad, that you would even attempt to that's so intricate, so tiny, and it's rusted. Yeah. Like I couldn't believe you went into that deeply.
Well, I was excited about it and I wanted it to look better than it was. And there's always the worry that it's going to continue rusting and it's going to become a problem down the road. So it's like a mostly all put back together. It doesn't run, but I shouldn't say this because people will bid up on it, but I have another bid on another like $5 watch movement that ends on Friday, ends tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same as the one that came out of here. So it should fit and it should run and it'll have both hands.
Now, what about, it looks like the glass is still broken. Were you able to take the glass from the new one?
I could have, but I didn't want to.
Because you wanted to keep the original glass.
I wanted to keep that original, because I want it to seem like it's not just like this thing I bought at an antique shop, right? I found it metal detecting. I could totally just put new glass in there, but I thought it was kind of
that's
endearing.
Amazing. Were you able to? And also, I want to say, Brad has a vlog video out. I think it was a vlog where you watch him disassemble the whole piece. It's all laid out. The whole thing is documented. He put a 15-minute vlog of him disassembling this watch. And I have to imagine your watch disassembly experience before this was 0.0. Were you watching like a YouTube video or were you just like taking it off?
I did a couple times. It started just trying to get the rusted mass of garbage out of the watch case because the gold part is what I was like most concerned with, and there's no saving what came out of it, right? It was just I ended up putting it on like a wire wheel just to get like all of the crust off of it so that I could kind of put it back in. But once I got the new movement, I had to look up, do some research to like how to wind it and how, because you have to like push it in to like wind it or set it and all that stuff. I didn't know anything about that. And you have to like loosen one of the little microscopic screws to actually pull the winder out so that you could put it in the case. All of that stuff was like a learning experience. And I am definitely not a watchmaker, evident by the watch hand hitting me in the face and flying across the room.
More than I would have done. And I don't know if this is helpful or not, but when my video came out just a couple days ago, I had like 4 or 5 different people all comment saying that it was a nurse's pocket watch. Now, I don't know what that means. Did they mean like a nurse carried it, or is that a name of a certain type of pocket watch? I don't know.
Well, regardless, it's not a pocket watch. It's a wristwatch. Evident by.
Well, they called it a nurse's watch. They called it a nurse's.
Yeah, no, I think a little nurse's pocket watch is just like a tiny little watch that has like
a small version of
but this has a connector on the bottom, the 6 hand that makes it a wristwatch. But
yeah, I'll bring it back up again. Yeah, you can see the little piece down here on the bottom.
Yeah.
If I can get that to go away.
Yep.
Where it did connect. And were you able to discern what the initials were, Brad? I think the next
Not yet.
photo, which is a little blurrier, has a slightly different.
Oh yeah, so it's B. So from left to right, it's BDF, and I'm fairly confident that the middle initial is the surname, so it'd be BFD. And I have not yet done the research on property owner and potential landowner, but it is something that I plan to do.
And the trickiest part is where we found this in Cape Cod, which has always been a big tourist area. Even 100 years ago, it could have been from a guy renting that place for a week or a month, and it might not have been the property owner. It might be an impossible task to narrow it down. I didn't know if you could try to find out the initials of the person who worked on it that was engraved and use that rabbit hole to maybe try to figure out whose watch it was.
No, unfortunately, there weren't initials corresponding to the actual person who worked on it. It was just the dates. Yeah. And actually, interestingly, to kind of put into perspective how long this boat is potentially in the ground, when I got the replacement from the Goodwill auction site, it had like 10 dates in it, right? So like it was worn probably into like the 80s or 90s. This had 1 date in it for being worked on. So it must have been lost early on, right?
Yeah. No,
that was kind of a unique yard because if I remember correctly, that house I think was 1680 or 1690, and it just, the range of stuff that we found at that house was pretty impressive because I mean we found stuff from modern silvers, Washingtons and everything, to barbers and large stands. I mean, it was just kind of all over the place, and you get that a lot with these homes up here.
Yeah, it was nice, and there was a lot of really old stuff. This not the oldest thing of the day, but as a detectorist who hunts a lot of yards, and Brad does a lot of woods, as you guys know, we don't find a lot of gold at all. I mean, Brad could probably count how much gold he finds, on one hand. So to find any gold is exciting, but gold that's initialized, a gold that he could actually work on and try with his limited knowledge, try to restore somewhat, that's an amazing experience. And, like I said, incredibly ambitious of him. I was really impressed by how far he did get, because I don't think I would have been able to do that. I thought it was incredible. And I have a feeling you'll probably see this again on Brad's year's best video, because that's a heck of a good find there, Brad.
Yeah. And it's funny too, to put it into some perspective for us people who are into this hobby and finding something like this. I posted a photo of this on a forum, a watch forum first, to be like, hey, can anybody tell how old this thing is? And everybody's like, oh no, everybody usually just takes some movements out of those and scraps the gold. And I was like, oh, cool. Well,
really? Oh,
I'm very excited about it. So I would like to know some history on this thing. And everybody's like, nobody cares.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. I mean, that was my favorite shot right there. It was hard to see the letters. Again, amazing find from Brad, and of course, I had to do blurry Brad.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those photos from that week.
Oh, it was a great shot. And for this video, Brad, again, I was honored to use one of my a different bokeh Brad.
That's right.
So incredible find, Brad. I was super happy for you. One of the best finds of the whole trip, and I'm sure one of the best finds of Brad's whole year. Maybe top 5 all time for Brad. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. What do you think of that, Doug? Did you get a chance to see it, Doug, in person?
Yeah. I didn't see it cleaned up because he did it well after the fact.
But he doesn't live with you, so you wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah. But I did watch the vlog and was very impressed with his skills, limited as they were. He did a great job.
And as a YouTube guy, and I might be wrong about the timeline, I think Brad's vlog showing the watch and the process,
different
that
stage,
vlog came out before the video where he found it came out. Is that right, Brad?
Yeah.
Could have been. Yeah.
I think it was out. Like you didn't even find it yet, but there's a whole video of you cleaning it up, which I thought.
Well, the reason was because I wanted to find out how old it was before I made put out the video so that I could have some actual concrete facts.
Well, you could have just recorded the vlog and put it the week. I mean, I don't care what you do. I just thought it was odd that you put the cart before the horse.
Everybody's a critic.
I am. Listen, I look out for his well-being. I like the guy.
Hey Jay, did you ever see the when Brad restored that flintlock?
No.
Oh, cool. Amazing.
Well, the guy, he's artistic. He's patient.
Amazing.
He's a meticulous, smart guy. I'm going to talk about him like he's not here. He's a meticulous, smart guy. And even though he's never done it before, if I had found it and Brad said, hey, Jay, can I bring it home? I think I can repair it. I would trust him. Where if Doug said that, I'd be like, no way, Doug. I'm not giving you this thing. I would think Brad would have a shot.
Oh, well, thank you. I always just try. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, the gears could shoot up and hit you in the face.
That's true. That's true. I made it through though.
Shoot your eye out.
He made it through. All right. Well, amazing. I don't want to harp on it forever, but my favorite find that I've seen of the whole trip, and we found some real dudes.
Oh yeah, I see in the comments, Alan Cleveland. Hey, do you want to see that musket real quick?
No. Thank you, Alan, for reminding me.
Yeah.
When after another 20 minutes, when Brad's starting to get tired, he'll just hold the gun up so you can
put an end to this.
I didn't say the word.
All right, let me see. Let me see what's next here. It's been going for a while. All right, Steph had the next good find.
I don't even know what it is yet.
Get a nice positive. You'll know what it is. I mean, it wasn't quite on the level of Brad's find, but that's what happens when you follow.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
The guy that finds the gold. But Steph had a similar type item, similar in the sense that it was same shape, same basic size. Also had a name on it.
We could pry it open. Yeah.
You could pry it open. Like there was a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of really distinct differences too.
Yeah, just a touch, especially the alloy.
Yeah, the alloy, and I couldn't read this one either. I thought it was double L's, and Steph thought it was an H. So, I mean, again, I can't read these darn things. Brad, what do you think it says on that? I'll bring it up full screen. Hold on. Brad seems to be a better reading at these script initials than I am.
It's like HP.
Whoa.
So
I think
this in like the
it's
80s.
I think it's a Roman numeral 2.
A Roman numeral 2.
Wow.
I think it came off Laverne and Shirley's shirt. It looks like the L for Laverne and Shirley. But
Squiggy's
do we know?
Well, we don't. I don't know if we know. We're just.
I never was able to find a match. I took a bunch of different pictures of it once I got home and did the Google image search thing, and I couldn't find it. And this is stamped brass. Like this was definitely mass produced. It's like I was saying in Jason's video. It's kind of like when you go to Disney World and you get a keychain that has your name on it because there's a million of them. I feel like this is the same type of deal where you could have chosen any letter. And again, clearly mass produced in the last century. So I should have been able to find something, and I never did, which is really odd.
It looks like there's an E in the center, right? Is it like JEL?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I'll try to make it full screen. There's people in the comments saying that it could even be Mike Hayes says a Gemini emblem. Maybe it's not even letters. I don't know.
Oh, it could be, but I don't understand why it'd have like a
for a hot pocket.
Hot pocket.
That's what it is. It's a hot pocket.
It's a hot pocket
trinket. That's what it is.
All right, so it was a hot pocket holder.
That's the positive ID. That was driving me crazy. Now we know.
That's the sleeve you put the hot pocket in when you put it in the. And not what I was really surprised, even though it was brass, and even though Steph realized right away it was modern. Yeah. I didn't think in a million years Steph would open it on camera because she likes to bring everything home and meticulously, but she's like, I'll open it right now. And I was shocked.
Well, because it's not from the 1700s.
I know, but still, like, I know you're a big frolicker. Yeah. And she did open it up. We were hoping for the remnants of an old photograph inside. We thought it was like a picture locket. And I think it was.
I think so.
But the inside just filled with dirt, unfortunately.
Have you guys ever found, I mean, I've found a lot of things like that, that would hold pictures, but I've never found one that still has a picture in it.
Doug and I were in a dirt fishing adventures about a year ago, and a
2
guy
years ago.
found. Remember, Steph? You were there.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a painting though. Well, like painted.
I don't know what it was, but it was. You would have never
was in
thought it was in the
beautiful
ground. It was
shape.
connected in glass, and he dug it. I think he broke the glass, but this thing stayed moisture free in the ground, and it was a beautiful like tin type photo or something. Maybe it was a painted picture. I don't know. But it was
amazing.
Another one was found that day that I filmed in my video of that hunt. It was the exact same thing, but it did not have the intact like little painting in there. And it
okay.
That. So it was interesting, and I don't think I got the painted version like that you got on your video. I don't think I actually filmed that, unfortunately, because it was a cool piece. But I guess we don't need that much redundancy. I try to leave some finds out that I know Jay is going to focus on. Or
I'll send you the clip, and you can put it in this week's video wherever you were. Just take the credit that you found it. But no, Steph's locket, unfortunately, no remnants of a picture. It just would have totally dissolved.
Yeah.
But super cool find from Steph. Doug I like this picture, Doug, only because I love the beautiful blue sky, the way it was in the background. To my colorblind eyes, I thought it looked really nice. The fact that you were in the picture, I didn't even notice. I was looking at the sky.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you were in that picture too.
Thank you.
But Doug called me over for he found this thing, which was kind of cool. Little kid's trinket. I know Steph could care less and is probably going to go to the bathroom.
No, I wish I had caught that on camera. And
you like that? You liked it
because it's a talking. We talk about this all the time.
That's right. It's a talking point.
And Jay made a very funny kind of behind the scenes comment. Don't worry, it's not a. Well, Jay doesn't have a potty mouth anyway. But if he did, you wouldn't know it. So you were talking about, sometimes you get a good find. Sometimes you get a minute and a half of footage. But I like those things because, again, just the talking points. Some people will recognize things like this, the more modern stuff. So it's more engaging for the audience.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I love a diverse mix. You find colonial stuff, you find gold, you find lockets, you find kids' things. It's a incredible mix of all the things you could potentially find with a metal detector. It's what the hobby's all about. I don't think this had a date on it, did it, Doug? It was dateless?
It was dateless, yes.
All right, just like Doug at the prom.
Yes, dateless.
Did you go to the prom, Doug? I don't even know.
Of course. I had girls in me.
Yeah, look at you stallion.
He was the limo driver.
But yeah, Doug's junior division national rifle champion, which was pretty cool.
And those were smooth bore muskets back then, too.
Yeah. Let's not even mention there's a gun in the picture, Erik.
No.
I'll
be right back. I'll be right back because I have to prove that I didn't always look this bad.
All right, go ahead. Go. What are you gonna do? You got a time machine? You got a time machine in the back?
Imagine if he used AI to come back.
Yeah.
I should do that. While he's gone, I'll just say I had found what I thought was an incredible find. I found an old clay marble shooter, which I loved. It was probably 100 years old, maybe. Never found a clay shooter before, the big one. But for time reasons, I cut it out of the video. But because Doug found this, I found a cool Segue where at least I put a picture of it in. There's Doug's smile that he found something. But there's my clay marble shooter. And my segue was that the kid who won a medal for shooting rifles also obviously like shooting marbles. That was my segue. And I got a picture of me and Brad holding it, even though it looks like I'm holding Brad hostage.
Well, do you know what was happening at this moment?
No, what was happening?
I walked up and I said, I just found a piece of gold and it has a monogram on it. And you were like, what? And we're just like whispering to each other while we take this photo real quick.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, because I was wondering. I was like, it looks like Brad doesn't want to be there. It looks like
I walked over to tell you guys that I found a piece of gold with the monogram on it, and you're like, "Hey, get in this picture with me real quick." And I was like, "Did you hear what I just said?" And we're just standing here to take a picture.
Yeah. At the moment, I was so far focused on my clay marble.
That's me. That's me midway saying, "You're never going to believe what I just found."
Yeah, Brad's like, yeah, let me put this fake smile on for this marble. Meanwhile, I've got gold.
Yeah, I've got gold over there. All right, hold on. Here comes Doug with proof that he was once younger.
Keep talking. I'll be right there.
Oh, keep talking. Well, I mean, I'm kind of pausing, waiting for you.
Okay, I'm going to send this in your.
Oh, I thought you were going to put a wig on and show me.
No. You're so good at this technology thing. You're
sending me a picture.
Yes. Should we all send photos of when we were younger?
Yeah.
I'll send one.
Is this picture like a lithograph, or is it was it taken with a camera?
Yeah.
Send it in the
Matthew Brady took it.
All right. I'll cue it up as soon as we're done. I'll have it done in a few minutes because I don't want to stop the show.
It's actually a picture of me in Vermont.
I'll bring it up in about 10 minutes because I'm also going to bring up Steph's Nova so we can compare
everybody hang in for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, because I want to see also who's the king or queen of the Novas. So we'll bring up that too. Hold on, let me see where I'm at here. We're almost done. So there's my marble, and that's the reason is because Brad had gold in his pocket and could care less about my.
I'm going to step away for like 30 seconds, so because I see this is an Erik find, I'm going to take an opportunity to just.
Hey, go use the lavatory. We all leave when Erik finds something.
How did you know?
Yeah, I would too because I didn't find Clog that day.
Yeah. Whenever Erik finds something, I want to leave the room too.
Yeah, I would too.
But now Erik had a slow start. Hey, I had a slow start, Erik. I feel you, brother. But Erik finally got something cool, and it was a pretty good find. I mean, it wasn't a gold pocket watch, but he got a silver 1934 silver Washington quarter. But he gets on the board, and he did find something else cool. And that's just how it goes sometimes, Erik. That Green Mountain guy, that guy's just born to find treasure.
He's soaked up. He was right in front of me. He was like, I could see him. He knew exactly where I was going, and he was just snaking everything right out from underneath me, that guy.
You know what's funny, too, is and I don't know if Brad was joking about this or not, but I had asked Brad before. I said, Brad, do you tell people that you're a YouTuber? And Brad said, no. If people ask me what I do for a living, I tell them I'm a treasure hunter. And I'm like, really? That's what you tell him with a straight face? He goes, yep, I'm a treasure hunter. Is that what you really tell people? I'm Brad Martin, treasure hunter?
That's what I tell people, yeah.
That's awesome. I wish
I went to the doctor's yesterday and I had a procedure done and like, oh, what do you do? And I said, I'm a treasure hunter. And I just live for the blank face where they go, they go, really?
They have to come back with like follow-up question.
It never ends there. They never go, oh, cool.
It's always just like I'm a truck driver, and that would just end.
Because it's so dumb to be like, I'm a YouTuber, and they're like, oh, sure you are, honey. You know what I mean?
I'm a treasure hunter. I think that's cool. I don't know if I could say that with a straight
face. You don't
face.
say that when you say you're a treasure hunter. It's just that's probably just a shock value of.
Yeah.
Like
that's not the answer you're expecting.
Someone
to reply with, "I'm a treasure hunter."
I'm gonna try doing that from now on. I'll have to say I record treasure hunters because I don't really find a lot. All right. Well, there's Brad's. Oh, the Jersey Ray Diggs is here. Thank you. She was late.
That's not mine.
Great stream. What's that?
You said that's mine. You can clearly see that there's fingers on those gloves.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I think that's true.
You can clearly see it's not a Nova or the Ark of the Covenant.
Brad's wardrobe is very distinct. You can see the fingerless gloves. People don't know, but from the back, Brad wears chaps. But I try to always
front only pants.
Front only.
Glad you went there, not me.
But Erik's silver Washington. Where am I in this list? Okay. Erik, fist bumping Erik for a good find. Here's Tyler, if he's still even in the chat.
Tyler, it looks like he had some good dancing moves.
Yeah, let me go back. That was Tyler. I tried to get goofy pictures. I don't know what he was doing. But I try to grab the most awkward picture because it makes for funny talking points.
He looks like a dude.
Tyler is here.
He's still in the chat.
Tyler, you're in the chat. You can screenshot this, Tyler, and make that your Facebook profile picture if you want. I give you copyright permission. Tyler, who had a really good day, already had all the stuff earlier, found that's a matron head, right, Steph? Because I didn't get a cleaner shot of this.
Yes.
I can tell the matrons because their nose is like blunt. It looks like a matron did I always say it looks like they did a 100-yard dash in a 90-yard room. Just like smack.
And she's a fuller figured lady than the braided hair, I feel like.
I can only see her from the neck up. I can't see.
Well, but she's got, kind of a slope to her chin. We're dissecting it too much. I am, anyway.
All right. I think it's a matron.
It definitely, yeah.
That was Tyler's second copper of the day. I think he wound up getting 3 where no one else even found a copper. So he was the king of the coppers, no doubt about it.
Tyler, I tell you what, guys, I hunt with Tyler usually 2 or 3 times a week, and he's a guy that puts in the effort. He puts in the research. He puts himself on good spots. And
Erik, you want to tell the story of how you met Tyler? Because you met him with us the last time we came up. Again, I'll give you the full screen spotlight for a second, Erik.
Oh, geez. All right. So
figure it out.
We were back in November.
Move your lips.
Back in November, it was me, Jay, Doug, Charlie, Steph, and
Matt.
Our buddy
Matt. Yeah, Matt. Great. Matt had a good weekend.
Nicola was there.
Yep. Nicola was there, and Erica was there. Well, anyways, on the last day of the trip, we were at this big old farm field that dates back thousands of years. The natives used to farm it before the English did. And we were just working our way around the field, and all of a sudden we saw these 3 people just walk out of the woods, and they had metal detectors. And that's kind of odd. And they started looking over in our direction. I think they probably recognized Steph right away because, Steph's pretty noticeable with that spiky hair of hers. And then they noticed Jay, and Charlie, I guess, walked up to him and started talking to him. And they said, "Hey, is that Quarter Hoarder and Steph from Stef Digs?" And I guess Charlie told me, yeah. And apparently the guy Tyler had literally watched the video, Quarter Hoarder videos on the way to go hunt that field. And then lo and behold, who's there? But Steph and Jay, everybody. And I still lived in Arizona at the time. But me and Tyler and Erica, stayed in touch, and we're all hunting buddies. And I tell you what, it was a strange twist of events, but it worked out great for everybody because we're all real happy to hunt with each other, and we have a great time.
He is a good dude, and I'll even give a background story too, because it worked out well. After that trip, when we got home, Brad must have been on like some forum or wherever he was. Yeah. And Tyler had posted. Now I didn't really know Tyler, but Tyler had posted the story. Hey guys, I happened to bump in the Quarter Hoarder. They were really nice to me. Doug shared a sugar wafer with me, yada, yada, yada. So Brad sent it to me and goes, "Hey, check this out." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, I did meet this guy." And so then I was like, well, I'm going to keep my eye on this forum to see if anybody talks bad about me. And nobody did. It felt so good. Like everybody was nice about me. So not
it's unusual for Reddit.
They don't know me on that forum. So I'm waiting for I was waiting for Tyler to be like, yeah, those greedy SOBs, whatever. Yeah, Doug's a rotten son of a gun. But no, it was super nice. So when we came back up this time and I heard that after that meeting, you and Tyler are now like hunting buddies.
Yep.
It was exciting to get back and hunt with him all day. And the guy really kicked some butt.
He really does, Jay. I mean, he finds, he's only been going at this for a little less than a year. And some of the items he's found are I'm not going to say exactly what they are, but he's found some incredible things that I dreamed of.
Check out your if they want. Now you have a TikTok. Do you still do your TikToks, Erik?
No, I have a YouTube. It's the Cape Codfather.
Okay, the Cape Codfather.
Yep.
Oh, so you do shorts, not TikToks. You do the YouTube shorts.
Yeah, I primarily do the YouTube shorts. We talked. I was gonna do a whole YouTube channel, but I love detecting too much. I'd rather leave it up to you and Steph and Brad and, the Hoover boys and all that stuff. I'd rather just detect and have fun and enjoy the company of you guys. And just post some shorts. I'm not going to do
Teresa, my moderator, is putting your YouTube channel link in there. I'll put it in the description after the show. Oh, and I see Charlie is in there. Our buddy Charlie, who was with us when we all met Tyler.
Yeah. Tyler, Erica. I mean, I've got a few good people, Tyler, Erica, Scott, George. We have our own little group, and we hunt together as much as possible. And we're just very fortunate to all have found each other through this wonderful hobby and become great friends. And now I've become friends with, y'all. And I talk to Steph all the time. I talk to Jay all the time. And Brad's up there freezing his butt off in Vermont. But I appreciate all of you guys. And I do enjoy our times hunting together. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Tyler, a great addition. It's a really nice guy. Enjoyed it.
100%.
All right. But let me get back to the show because it's already been 2 hours. Brad's falling asleep. I'm trying to keep him awake. Erik, another good find here. And this one, I think I actually mis-ID'd it in the field, which is ridiculous because I've probably found 30 of them myself. But it looks like it's an old train, like a luggage tag, a luggage fob.
Yep.
It's hard to see.
It turned out to be. It did turn out to be from from the Cape Cod Railways. And that's what it turned out to be. It turned out to be a luggage, a train tag. I'm not sure if it was a luggage tag, but I was able to identify the railroad. And that railroad was only about half a mile away from where we were at.
Okay. I'm sorry. While you're talking, I'm trying to get Steph and Doug's pictures ready because I got to queue it all up and I got to edit them real fast.
Heard that airdrop a few seconds ago.
I'm airdropping. I want to edit a side by side of you and Brad, so I have to create a quick Photoshop while I'm running the show.
He's a multi.
Right, so here's another find. This was a double. There's Doug from the front and Brad from the back, but not enough of the back where you see his chaps.
Yeah, you can explain that covered bottom.
I'm very careful the angle that I record.
Right. You had to Photoshop something on there so that
I had to put something. I put that big bag over his back.
Right.
His Photoshop skills are pretty good, so
But no, this was like a double. So this was Doug, and then I got there's Brad, his contribution to the double. Doug, do you even know what this is going to be?
I'm sorry?
You know what this is going to be?
What, the find?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay.
I do. I remember.
You only found 2 things the whole day, Doug. You don't remember what the second one was?
Was it my find?
Yeah. There it is, Doug.
Oh, no, I did forget. Yeah.
Doug found the fire truck. Brad found the Lesney. And I think Brad found another car, but I didn't see it.
Yes, you did. We made a continuation of the airplane joke.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. I didn't record it, though. You're right.
I did.
I'm not going to get into the airplane joke again.
That's okay.
That was a mess. But,
that's too
many. What car? Did you say something, Steph?
I said that's too many hunts ago. Anyway, we'll just
it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But that car, darn it! Someone told me what it was just today. What did I say it was in the video, Doug? Do you remember?
It looks kind of like an old Studebaker.
No, it was whatever. Whatever I said it was in the video was right, but I don't remember what it was. It was like a real fancy car, but I know Brad could care less about the toy cars. I love them.
Yeah.
And that makes the video every time for me.
Well, you know how much I love that fire truck.
And I think Brad gave you the car, didn't he, Doug? Didn't he bequeath his car to you?
I don't remember.
Did
you, Brad? I may have given him my fire truck.
Yeah, it was a Jaguar. No, you
Jaguar.
Brad doesn't want that. Brad doesn't want this stuff. Brad likes gold and silver. We like kids' toys and marbles.
Yeah, things that we can relate to.
Yeah. Brad's a treasure hunter.
That's right.
Apparently, it's a Jaguar Mark 10.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's an old Jaguar. Even though it doesn't look like a Jaguar to me.
No.
I thought it was pretty cool. But let's keep going. I think there's like 5 more pictures, and then we'll do the face-off. Another one from Tyler here. Now, and I have a confession to make on this one. Let me just bring the next clip up. Here's the find. My confession on this is, in my video, I made this eloquent speech of what it was and what it could have been and how there was an error. But in the moment with me and Brad, we got it all wrong. Well, I got it all wrong, and Brad was trying to correct me, and it was a hot mess of me saying facts that were wrong. And so I had to remove all the audio and re-record it. So the audience wasn't like misled by my mistake. So now the only one in the world that would know that I did that would be Brad and Tyler. But we were going on about how this particular year has some variations on it. And I think, Brad, you said you even found the variation before, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is. It was an 1800, right? And then I think like the first 0 has like a whisper of a 9 in it. Is that right?
Yeah, the 7 is behind the 8, and then the 0 you can see the middle line of the 9. And I was just making an observation that because his date was so clean, and you can kind of see the date on it there. I said, if you find this year, you want to look at it more closely. But in the real video, I screwed up the years, so I had to fix that. So I looked smart in the video, looked smart, and I did look smart.
That was the Drape bust, right?
Yeah, that was Tyler's third copper, the 1800 Drape bust. Like I said, he was on fire, and I got a bokeh. I got a bokeh blurry Tyler. There he is, right there. Nice. Bokeh blurry Tyler. Yep, there he is. I should have blurred Tyler a little bit more.
He needs to wash his hands.
There's a great shot of Brad. Now, this shot of Brad is not only great, but it's not even from the same day. It's from like
the first day. That looks like the first.
Yeah, it's the first day. I thought, man, that's a great shot, but where am I going to use it? And I said, I'm going to use it in this find.
Put a hot pocket in his mouth.
Yeah, I should have. I have to always look for hot pocket references now. But this find did deserve that face. That's why I thought, this is appropriate. So Brad got himself this other nice little piece of silver. I didn't get a good shot of it. In my video, I actually borrowed a clip from Brad just so I could show it up close. Are you reaching for it, Brad? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, hold on. I'll bring you up full screen. And you can talk about it for a second while I Photoshop this. Whoops, that's not you. That's me. That's you.
Yeah, well, you can see how much I care about it because it still has dirt all over it.
not quite the effort the pocket watch got.
No. But it is just a little piece of sterling. I was just kind of rubbing it to see if it says sterling, but I don't think it does. I just found another one of these a couple of weeks ago, and it does say sterling. But it's just what Jay and I call Hollowware, handled to something. And,
I actually know what it is, I think. I left a comment on your Instagram, but I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it. You said it was a button hook, right?
I think so.
A lot of people said button hooks.
Okay. I didn't see the comments.
I've also seen photos of it on tableware and on all of the things we mentioned in the video. Button hook seems very. I saw some that were for like little shoehorns. I saw some that were for like really obscure objects. It went to something. Who knows? Maybe a button hook.
Silver. Who cares? Right? It's a pretty chunk of silver.
And it's Hollowware, and the reason it's called that is because it's hollow. And I heard that they're filled with sand. I didn't know that previously. I just read that in some of the comments in the videos. I'm not really sure how it would have like firmly attached to like the tang of whatever was in there. Maybe. Also filled with sand. We would assume it'd be like a glue of some kind. But anyway, yeah, it's just a very, very thin piece of silver with some flowers on it. And unknown. I've never found one with something attached. I found 3 or 4 of these over the years, and there's never anything attached to them. So
I found 3 or 4 also, and I always thought, because I never found anything attached, that it was wood and maybe it rotted away, but I don't know. I'm just making a total guess.
Yeah.
I also saw the button thing that people were commenting on. They commented that on mine, but I don't even know what that is. I just
Well, in my research, I did a bunch of Google searching, and they were on like everything. A lot of the ones that I saw were on tableware, like big fancy, like serving, like with those little triangle shaped like cake servers and big knives.
Oh,
and
okay.
things like that.
All right, let me bring it up. Hold on. Let me see what I got. I only have 3 left, Doug. 3 left. Stay awake with me, and then we'll do the Nova Showdown, and we'll do young sexy Doug. There's Brad filming his stuff. I always try to get a little shot of Brad because it's impressive of the amount of filming gear that the guy carries around. He's got 2 cameras on tripods. He's got the GoPro going all the time. It's a lot of work. When he finds something good, it's like a 15-minute setup.
Setting up a Hollywood scene.
It is. It's dedication, though. I mean, who would do that?
You.
Well, I'm saying, but unless you have the mentality of, I'm going out today to do 2 things, like Erik was saying, it's a lot of work to make, to do 2 hobbies seriously at the same time. That's a dedication. The guy's carrying around a whole Best Buy store on his back.
Hey, Jay, with that being said, it shows in his videos because his videos are always super high quality. They're always
like I said, he's serious about both of them, and he spends equal time on both hobbies. And I do the same. Steph does. Like, I'm not saying we're better than anyone else. I'm just saying that, when you're really into it, you're doing 2 serious things at the same time. Yeah. And you're filming them, not just to film it, but you're filming it thinking of how you're going to edit it later, so you're just doing all these things. And after a while, it becomes second nature. But when you first start off, it's a hot mess until you figure out how,
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I remember once in the last 6 years that I've been on YouTube, one time 2 years ago, I didn't film my finds because I just wanted to dig that day. And it felt so strange. I hated it. I hated not doing what I found. It was such I just said, no, I just want to, have just a fun day where I don't feel like I have to have the objective of making a video, and not filming things and putting them directly in my pouch was the strangest feeling, because you just get so used to doing it that it's second nature, and you have 2 objectives when you're out during the day. Yeah, I want to find stuff, but I also really want to make a good video out of this. So how can I do that? So that was weird.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I tried it before to just go out and just metal detect and not film stuff. I can't do it.
It's too weird. So
yeah, I can't do it.
I mean, I'll have days where I don't film everything that might be half decent that came out of the ground, but generally it's just about everything that's somewhat reasonable, I guess. Anyway.
All right, I'm just queuing up the last of the Nova Showdown. I'm getting them ready. But anyway, this was Brad's. And then I think there was one last find of day number 2, which was from Steph. Good shot there, Steph. As the sun starts to go down, Brad, as a art person, would know they call it the golden hour or something, where there's no harsh shadows. Like it's like a giant diffuser in the sky. Everyone looks better. And when we go out, I always try to get our thumbnail shot during that time window. If I can, during that half an hour, call the guys from, 100 yards in every direction.
Production.
Doing something, I got to stop and walk over. So a lot of times I miss that opportunity, but look at the beautiful lighting, on Steph's face, because where the sun happens.
Dirt on my face, on my chin.
Well, I'm not saying that, you specifically, I'm saying the lighting, the lighting.
Yep.
I think you look great.
Well, thanks.
But Steph got
with dirt.
And this one I would have totally gotten wrong. I would have all day called that a cuff link. Yeah. I'll bring it up full screen, Steph, if you want to explain why, while I'm simultaneously finishing the Nova Showdown.
I'll try to talk as much as I can so that you.
I only need a few seconds.
So we'll start with the right side image there. That's the back of it, and you can see PLA, which I would know ends with TED. It's plated, so it's a very simple late 18th, early 19th century back mark. with silver on the front, as you can see to the left. Now, it's shaped like a cufflink, but the thing is, in the 18th and early 19th centuries, the size of cufflinks were incredibly small. When you get up to the Victorian era, they are around that size. You know, one half of them, the side that you would see when you're wearing it on a coat, would be that size. But this is not constructed that way, even down to the shank post that's left over. So I am 100% certain, I don't say that a ton, but I am 100% certain that is late 1700s, early 1800s, and it's just an oval-shaped button, which I've never found before. So thankfully, I was actually able to seal that up so that the silvering didn't come off. Because as some people might remember in Jason's video, he's like, I could tell that Steph's nervous that I'm going to like rub the silver off. I'm going to give it back.
They are. I can tell Brad sometimes gets nervous, and he is like, he thinks I'll rub it. And listen, to be fair, there's a good chance I would, because sometimes you can't help it. Like your fingers just gravitate, so you're better off just don't put it in my hand if you're not.
Yes, I thought it was pretty unique. I haven't found one like that, so it's a cool find to end the day. And I know that was like the 11th hour. That was definitely the very end of the day, right around the time you took that photo of me. So probably 5-6 o'clock somewhere in there, right as we're wrapping up. So that was neat. I don't hate the find. I like it. So
and I think the only thing I have left is our whole gang photo, which you guys have seen. I think I put it on Facebook. I always try.
You're not going to do a spoiler.
What's that?
You're not going to do the spoiler for what I find this Tuesday.
Well, you listen. It's not that I don't want to say it. You're welcome to say it. I just don't have any clips because my video didn't come out. But you're welcome to say what it was.
Okay. We'll have everyone wait till Tuesday, where they can hop on over to my channel because that video dropped last week.
Yes, Steph's already has it, and it was a phenomenal. I again had no idea what that thing was.
It was the oldest find of the trip, which was awesome. That was a great way to end the weekend for me. The oldest one that we could confirm anyway in terms of a date range. So that was really incredible. It was something that I wanted to dig basically since I started the hobby, and finally got it done, and Jason was 10 feet away, so there was a fun moment to share. You always want a friend close by when you make a bucket list find, because it definitely was for me. And Buzzkill Brad came over and said, "Oh, I don't think it's that." "Oh, it's just that." "Oh, okay, whatever." He apologized, to be fair.
You're wasting my time.
Because I'm like freaking out, and he's like, "Oh, well, isn't that from like the 1800s or something?" I don't know.
No, I think Brad said, "Oh, can't you still buy those at Lowe's?"
Probably something similar. We're just giving him a hard time now. But
I know get a pin in your balloon.
I know exactly what the conversation was. If you want to go through it,
can't you still go buy those? And like Steph, who was like, because I filmed Steph with her camera and my camera.
Yeah.
And like Steph was like almost in tears. Like her joy was so high, like she was virtually like almost crying. And then when Brad came over and said, "Can't you still buy them at Lowe's?" Brad's hard to impress.
I didn't say that, by the way. Those I don't. We don't have Lowe's around here.
He's like,
"Oh, they don't have Lowe's up there?"
No.
Maybe 1800s or something. I'm like, "No, that's," and I'm getting like defensive about it. I know this type of thing. And
I don't think it was that big of a conversation. I'm pretty sure Steph said, "This is what it is, and this is when it's from." And I said, "Yeah, maybe." And then it was.
I got the 1800s terminology thrown out there. I'm like, no. But that's probably just wrong in my brain. That's happened before. So
I do remember saying, like, I'm pretty sure that they didn't like disallow you from making things of this style at a date.
Whatever the case is, it'll be on.
Maybe that's what it is. All right. So
I did give you a hard time about it. I apologize.
Okay. You apologized that day. It's fine. I was like, it's okay. You can be wrong sometimes if you want to.
All right, listen. I'm going to queue up. I finished the quick side-by-side Photoshop. So I need everyone in the audience. We're going to do a random poll.
So basically, whoever they like better.
Whoever they like better. So you're going to say left or right. I'm going to put up the one picture of the same side by side, and then I'll do a second picture. And if you join the show late, Brad found a stunningly beautiful, rare Nova Constellatio coin. And I asked Steph if she found one, and she said in the past she found her own incredible one that graced the cover of American Digger magazine. So we're going to compare who's got the best Nova. Doug, you're also able to vote.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is side number 1. I'm going to do a full screen. There they are right there. I won't say whose is whose.
I don't think you have to.
Okay. Well, if they're late or if they don't watch any of our videos, they might not know. Doug, left or right? Give your honest opinion. And in the chat, please put it in there. Left or right?
You want me to type it in?
Keep in mind also, not that I'm trying to be biased in any way, but the one on the left was brought home and clean. The one on the right is fresh out of the ground.
Yeah.
Fair though, I don't think you would have done anything to the one on the right because you would have lost all of the details had he removed that patina.
I definitely scrubbed it with a toothbrush.
Oh,
well, I'm saying, but would you have brow sweated it or did anything at home? The person on the right?
The person on the right sprayed it with isopropyl alcohol and scrubbed it with a toothbrush.
Oh, okay, so it was worked. It was worked.
Mine didn't.
I mean, not during this photo. I didn't take a photo of it afterwards.
No,
This is a tough one, man.
They're both beautiful in their own right. I'm looking at the
person on
chat.
the left didn't do anything but apply wax. That's literally nothing else but just applying wax. That's how it came out of the ground.
Listen to Steph fighting for her coin.
I think it's kind of clear.
I don't know.
I think it's clear whose is whose.
You think?
All right. So in the chat, right is getting a lot of rights, but I'm seeing lefts in there. And listen, there's no winners or losers in this. They're both winners. I mean, you find.
I would take either one of them.
I know you would.
I'm putting my vote in now.
Eric, what's your vote? Left or right? I'm not going to say.
I'm going to go with the left. I like the date on the one on Brad's a little bit better, but the hole in hers is pretty sweet.
Directly above the U.S.
Yeah.
You don't think that the whole
might have actually worn that on purpose that way because we had just won the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
So to me, 1785, we had technically won it 2 years prior. To me, I feel like that could have been, and of course I'm just making up a story here, but why not? That could have been a really proud patriot that wore it around his neck. People kind of reject these coins.
They're both. It looks like Brad's. Yours is 1785, right?
I think they both are.
They both are.
Yeah, it's an identical coin. They're both fantastic.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know whose was worked. I like hold coins because to me they fall more into the relic. They also fall into the relic category.
Yeah.
But a coin collector will say that's damage. So everyone's opinion is different on these things.
Yeah.
Definitely considered damage. Yeah.
But we don't sell our stuff anyways. I mean,
Doug, did you pick? People are asking, what's Doug's?
I put down a tie, and I put down.
Oh, come on! You're not the parent. You can't pick which kid's better.
I have a valid reason.
This is the I call foul.
I call foul too. Just say that it's Brad's. It's fine. I don't care.
No. I'm looking at both the highlights and lowlights, but there are very few lowlights of either. But I'm looking at them both, and I, as much as I like the hold one, Brad's in its dirty state still looks. You can see the lettering, you can see the date. Actually, the wreath looks a little better on Brad's, but I have to say, both of them I would be happy to find.
Oh yeah, they're both stunning ones. Now you gave your lame answer of tie. Erik gave his answer of left. Took a lot of guts. But now I'm going to go to the two actual finders. I'll start with Steph. Steph, if you could only take one of these home?
It's a good thing they're in separate rooms.
Who do you choose? Yeah, pretend Brad's not here.
What do I care? I'm not going to offend him.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So
Brad doesn't even have it anymore. So what's he care?
The reason, I would choose mine, and the only reason why is because I do like hold coins, but it's not that. It's because it's a more stable coin because there is not much patina on that side to lose. So I don't like flakiness. So that would drive me crazy knowing that I really couldn't handle that. Whereas the one that I found you could pick up, I mean, not that I pick it up very often. I really don't want to play with it. It's on a coin easel in my curio, but that one you can actually hold it in your hand. With the one that Brad found, just as someone that metal detects, like I don't want to. I hate it when I can't handle a coin after the fact. I like to play with my finds. I don't like putting things in flips. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like putting coins on coin easels like this. So I have a bazillion of. I really like doing stuff like that. So
I can see the chipping a little bit on the, like you're saying, on the edge of the one on the right. Whoever dug that one.
Yeah, and those types of coppers just drive me crazy because like my OCD wants to strip it off to see what's underneath, but the brain kicks in and says there's nothing underneath in so many circumstances. So I would rather have a coin that I can handle. But they're kind of tied to me. I like that his US is more prominent. The wreath is more prominent.
Yes.
So eyeballing it, I like his better. But in the hand, I would prefer to find mine because that's just how I am, though. I'd prefer to find something, even with slightly less details, but something that I can pick up.
All right, so let me just summarize that dissertation you gave. Are you picking left?
No.
What?
I'll
after all that?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick left just because of my crazy OCD with stripping.
Okay, that's fair.
And the fact that doesn't have any flaking whatsoever. So
I do agree. There's no flaking.
That's the only reason that I would pick that, because otherwise I like the prominence of the U.S. and the wreath on his.
Kitty just noticed the U.S. in the middle. Yeah, that's
a coin that has anything alluding to the United States on it.
Yeah,
from what I can tell. So. Yeah, I mean,
Brad. Now I got to ask Mr. Martin here: if you could dig one of these two coins and only one, which one are you going to go with, Brad? Based on this side only.
Mine.
Well, we don't know which one's yours. Let's say left or right.
Yes, we do. Has anyone watched the whole show?
I'm trying to keep it unbiased.
A lot of people have been hanging out for 2.5 hours.
So Brad chooses the one on the right. Listen, like I said, there's no winners or losers in this.
No,
they're both two of the most premier examples I've ever seen. I'm wondering if Brad sent these pictures in, if he would also get the cover of American Digger magazine. However long after you got yours, a year. I don't know when you dug yours, Steph.
They usually, Butch normally wants you to submit finds that are within the last 6 months, but he could be flexible. I don't know.
Well, this was within 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. That's perfect to send to Butch. If he has really good pictures of it, definitely a good one to send to Butch.
Brad, what are you doing with your finger?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get your attention. They reached out to me and said, please upload a picture of it. And I went to the website and their uploader didn't work. And that's where it ended. So
publisher at AmericanDigger.com.
Yeah, try again. I always mean to send things, and I always forget. I have to try to be more diligent about that because I do like supporting them, and I like holding a tangible magazine.
Yeah.
And then just little thing is, Brad and Jay. Erica will be in American Diggers next month.
Oh, awesome! For what fine?
She pulled her brother, I forget which one it was, pulled a 2 real out of that last property. Remember the big farm?
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yep, I saw it.
Yeah. So apparently that's going in there too.
I sent my box plate in. Butch asked me for photos, so I sent him the.
Maybe I'll send in my Masonic, whatever it was.
Sword
hanger.
Yeah, my sword hanger. All right, now, just to be fair, now I got to end real fair. The other side. I won't say whose is whose again.
Oh, geez.
Now, I jokingly gave a one-word answer because Steph gave more than one word.
I know. I figured that.
But I just want to point out that mine was still covered in dirt, and it was flaking around the outside edges. But it didn't get worse than that once I brought it home. And I cleaned off some dirt, and it did get just a little bit better.
Yeah, I probably would have brow greased yours, and I think it may have popped a little bit, but I'd be afraid to mess with it too much because of the chipping. But it's still, it was so, the condition was so good, I almost wouldn't want to jeopardize losing anything. I would have just left it as it stands.
See, in this picture, I like the one on the right better on this side.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't answer honestly. My pick on the previous picture, I liked the one on the right. I thought I could see more detail. But on this picture, the other side, I prefer the one on the left because I can see more detail. So there was my little guess. But again, Erik, you chose the left on the previous one. This one you're choosing right?
Yeah, because I love how sharp the sunbursts appear on the one on the right. And if you look at Steph's on the one on the left,
don't say Steph, it's a mystery.
Oh, I'm sorry, the mystery coin. The one on the left, just on this side, where that hole was made, it's kind of deteriorating a little bit, and
that's actually
the Nova isn't as clear, I think, as the one on the right.
The Nova.
To be fair, I think it's a different design. I think they're different designs
because different dye varieties.
Because my starburst
is blended together. That's actually how it's supposed to look for that dye variety. It's a Crosby 3B for the numismatists at home.
The starburst on mine
did the same year. They did 2 designs on the same year,
like 6 or 7. They're just different dye varieties. That's all. Gotcha. That's all it is. So Brad and I have a different dye variety. I didn't look his up. I didn't bother because it wasn't my coin, so I didn't care as much. Sorry. So I didn't look up the variety in the Whitman's encyclopedia. But yeah, no, it's still 1785. They just made dyes each year.
Just the one on the left's eye is a little more pronounced than the one on the right, but they're both spectacular.
Well, that's probably because of the dirt.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, this is how it came out of the field. So it was a rainy day, and I was just rubbing the coin, thinking it was going to be a slick because everything that had come out of this particular site was a slick, really disappointingly so. And the rain was coming down, and I just rubbed it with my thumb. When I got home, I let it dry, and then I just applied wax, and that was that. So this really is kind of just from the field how it looked.
It's spectacular. They're both spectacular. Either way, I don't have one. Yeah. I'm praying to get one day, I hope. But they both look absolutely stunning, and beggars can't be choosers.
Before I go to Doug and Brad's, if Don Hartman is still in the chat, I saw him earlier, who you guys all know as the New Jersey State Copper aficionado.
Oh yeah, he might know the variety of Brad's.
He might, but I was going to ask him also. Don messaged me last week about another website that's collecting finds for like some sort of a contest for like best thing of the year. But I forget what it was called.
I forgot about it last year, and I wanted to submit my Rosa Americana. It's
C4.
I don't know. Well, I saw the C4 one that Carol put in there. I don't know if that's Don's. I mean, I can promote that one also. It might be the same. But Don, I wanted to give a shout out to whatever the site was that collects the rarest of the rare kind of finds. I wanted to give him a plug, but I forget what it is offhand. So if he's here, I'll look for it. If not, I'll update everybody on the next live. Doug, what was your choose on this one? Left or right? Again, we're not going to say who dug what.
They are both awesome, and
I agree.
I would love to see what Brad's turned out after he got it home and cleaned it up a little more.
Well, we will never know.
It looks so good, even with dirt on it. You
can go stay at that Airbnb.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we find coppers 100+ years newer than this that don't look half as good as either one of them.
Yeah.
It's that soil. Cape Cod's got that super sandy soil, and it just, unless somebody really fertilized the hell out of their property, the coins just seem to hold up really well. I mean,
I'd rather get out of a sandy field than a clay field.
Well, Doug, on the reverse sides of these two coins, you gave the wonderful answer of tie. What's your feelings on this side of the two coins in a head-to-head battle?
Who, me?
You're the only Doug here.
It remains a tie. I'm sorry.
This side tie also.
They're both in their own right. They're both excellent coins.
All right. Doug doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
God. We have a thick skin. It's okay.
Steph, which one did you already choose this one, Steph? I forget what order I went.
I didn't choose one. Again, I like that you can see the eye. I mean, it's tough to say because I can tell that if we had a little bit better lighting with Brad's photo there that you got a still of, like the
yeah, it's the best I got in the sun.
I can tell that eye would be really prominent. But the fact is, in the photo itself, you can't see it quite as well. I like that you can see every letter on mine except for, where are we? A. I don't know, whatever. I'm missing a letter because of the hole, but I like Hold coins. And
your hole from the other side, I thought may have been drilled. I mean, the coin on the left.
Drilled from the other side. That's why you're seeing kind of that blob around it that Erik was mistaking for flaking.
Yeah, well, you can tell it was punched.
So it was.
Whoever dug the one on the left, you could tell it was punched through.
Yeah.
It is a tough call. I wish we had fair photos of after.
I know.
Well, one thing about this side, if you look at the dirtier coin, you can actually see the stars are more prominent than they are on the left, which is really cool in my opinion.
They look like there might be a higher relief.
Yeah,
at least the one.
And it also can be the angle too, because we're trying in the field. We try to look for getting that shadow so that we can have the side light, and it looks like it has a lot more definition. And you can tell on the left, obviously, I've taken straight on photos, and I did it specifically on an overcast day to get that contrast that I wanted to be able to send to American Digger. I like the prominent lettering on mine. I'm going to go with mine, just because again, the flaking would drive me crazy. And I love Hold coins, and I love that you can see all of the lettering except for where the hole is. So I guess I'll be the champion of mine again. I don't know.
Audrey Growinghouse wants to know why we even care. And I don't know, Audrey. I don't know.
Because we all have one.
Because we're all here and we're just.
This is our level of nerdiness, everybody. This is why. Because we're looking at 250-year-old coins and going, which one's better when they're both.
Yeah, like this is the whole thing is the whole show is pointless, Audrey.
They're literally two of the most amazing copper coins you can ever dream to find in the United States, and we're literally arguing over like stars.
Right.
Brad, I would have been happy to dig either one of those.
But you're choosing the one on the left. Whoever dug that one.
Whoever dug that one, yeah. I guess I'm choosing the one on the left. Maybe it's hard to see, like I'm attached to it now. So it's one of I think it's my favorite coin, my favorite copper coin I've ever dug. And I have a couple of nice.
There's no wrong answer.
So I'd still.
Steph can't say anything negative about her own coin. It'd be like throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, I can. I wish that the wax didn't kind of absorb in such a way where it's white, but at the same time, it offered more contrast when I put the wax on there. I guess, a little bit. And I like Hold coins. There's something about Hold coins that
everybody's changing their vote to tie.
It's a hard one, yeah.
I like the whole because I like the whole coins because it feels more personal because somebody wore it.
Yeah.
I agree. I can't argue with that.
I like relic coins. Those are the type of coins that I will collect because they're less expensive. If you were to put both of these on eBay, Brad's would sell for more. 100%. Now, again, like we discussed earlier, these are not coins that are going to sell for a lot because they've been in the ground for a while. But if you were to put this on in a buyer's market, everyone's going to choose the one on the right if they're a numismatist or really into coin collecting because it doesn't have the damage of the hole, and it's still got all of the patina on there except for just a little bit of flaking. So that's the one that I think would fetch more. For a Doug copper coin. But yeah, I don't know that I can say much bad about either of them. I think mentally the flaking would drive me crazy because I wouldn't be able to play with it. And that's just a weird thing to say. Most people are normal and put things in flips or put them in something safe. But no, I have to put them on coin easels. So
that's right. If you had to play with one of these two, which one are you playing with, Brad?
Well, I don't know if you were around for this, Jay, but I was talking to Dennis and I want to spoil it for everybody. The one on the right is the one I found on that property with Dennis.
Out the bag.
And I don't know if you caught this conversation, but he was actually saying, was talking about who may have potentially dropped this amazing coin.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and he said, George Washington stayed at that Airbnb.
Oh, well,
and
a lot of providence.
Here he goes getting the books now.
Yeah.
So I think that for that reason.
I want to change my vote.
My George Washington Nova Constellatio.
Yeah, but mine has a hole in it, and it's perfectly aligned with the top of the U.S. So it was a new patriot that was proud enough to wear the thing.
What's funny too is before
I only get the best permissions.
Before Brad brushed it, Steph. Before he brushed it, I swear I saw a faint fingerprint of George Washington.
It's still there. It's still there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, then
he autographed it also.
Yeah, the autograph.
Check up to the lab for the DNA test.
It was found
DNA.
It was found right next to Martha Washington's makeup compact.
They were both fantastic coins and part of an incredible day. Let me show real fast the sexy Doug photo. He wants me to send me the sexy Doug. Hold on.
If he's not holding a hot pocket,
I don't know. If he is.
Well, in a sense, I am.
All right, there's now, Doug. Which one are you?
The one with the red scarf.
Doug, when was this photograph taken?
It was taken in Vermont in 1987, not far from Brad's.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Brad, how old were you in 1987?
I was 2 years old.
2 years old. Okay.
So was I.
Hey, Doug, is that like a sleigh ride or something?
Yes, that's at Adams Farm. Have you ever heard of that, Brad?
No, I haven't.
It's in Wilmington, just north of Wilmington, not too far from Mount Snow.
Okay, I've skied at Mount Snow, but that's more of Brad's area, Vermont.
Yeah. So
I'm not familiar with that particular farm, no.
A funny story. We were on our honeymoon, and we were at the bar at dinner, and after the day out in the snow, and two girls came up to me and thanked me vociferously for saving their lives up on the mountain. Now, I was nowhere near the mountain that day, other than to drive by the entrance. But they swore that I saved their lives and bought me a drink, and I think they wanted to pick me up and take me to their cabin.
I don't think so.
That's Montes.
Well, that's and is that your lovely bride that you're still with?
That's my wife who still looks that good.
That's Kathy. It looks like a cold day, and I can see your hands are out. Her hands are probably in her hot pockets.
We don't know.
Might be the last hot pocket reference of the night.
Yeah,
well, that is a good picture, Doug. I want to hug you and kiss you all over.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there we go. We're gonna get ready to wind the show down. Again, before I close it, Brad, are your videos from the first two hunts, full length videos, are done, but tomorrow is a special vlog of whatever extras you had, and you had some good finds on day 3. Are they going to be included in the vlog, or are you saving them for another day?
I didn't really have any good finds from day 3, but all of the finds from day 3 are in tomorrow's vlog. It's very much like a normal weekly video, except there's just like nothing very exciting. And there's things like the good old fashioned New Jersey dig off is in there.
Okay.
Yeah. There's just some weird stuff in there that it's like a 20-minute long metal detecting video.
Things that we do, like that's pretty much all of our videos.
I've got the B-roll of me blowing on the flower and you making fun of me for it, all that great stuff.
You know what's funny, Steph, at the end when you found your button at the end of my video, and you said, "Where's Brad?" And while I was recording your button, I said, I don't know, he's probably in the backyard filling a flower blowing in the wind. I think he legitimately was in the backyard filling a flower blowing in the wind.
Remember at Dirt Fishing Adventures, I think it was like last fall or something, when we were all there, and you had to drag the forsythia or something and let it wave in the wind.
Yeah, right in front of Brad.
For his B-roll.
And what's great is Brad was talking to two guys and they were a little blurry. And when Brad looked over at me and saw what I was doing, I cut the video right there. But Brad did one of these. He's like he knew I was mocking.
Yeah.
I wish I had the eye Brad had. I wish I did. He's a unique guy, and all his videos are unlike anyone else's in the metal detecting world. So I make fun of him lovingly because his formula obviously works, Steph. So
tomorrow, is my final Cape Cod video.
All right, final one for now, and I'm sure we're going to be planning another trip together. I really enjoy I call them the extended crew, Doug, when we can't get with Rich and Lynn and Charlie. They fit right in. Erik, Steph, and Brad. All kidding aside, I'm really proud to call all three of them friends. I really enjoy my time when we spend together. It doesn't feel like anything's off. It just feels like, we all just get along so well.
It's a different group of friends.
And before I plug Steph's thing too, I do have to say what we didn't talk about was Erik, who not only lined up all of the properties that we did, but he actually opened his doors and we all stayed in Erik's house for the whole weekend. He cooked dinner for us.
It was his birthday.
It was his birthday. We bought him a cake.
Got me a cake. That was so nice.
So Erik really went above and beyond to really make it a special weekend for all of us. So I can't thank him enough for all the time and preparation and everything he did to make us all look so successful. So thank you, Erik. I really do appreciate it. And we all want to come up again. So get back out there and start knocking.
And I'd love to reciprocate and have them all down to one of our.
Yeah, I would love to get them all together. It's it's a lot of fun with them. Maybe we can get Brad off the mountain down here in New Jersey. We'll see.
Hey, we got a little mountain out here in Bucks County.
I could make a little hill for him or something.
I'll take it.
Some briars in the field.
It's such a great group of people. We sat around in the living room and debated certain fines and everything. I'm telling you what, if anybody knows what this is.
Full screen.
We're going to figure this out.
Oh, let me make Erik full screen because we were debating this in the house for quite a while.
All right. So I found this in Destin, Florida. Well, just north of Destin, Florida, a little town called Niceville, Florida. And it's the same on both sides. Now, inside there is a little number 4. I was led to believe that this is a fishing weight, a triangle fishing weight mold. Now, Buzzkill Brad and Skeptical Steph have have told me because of the way the numbers orientated, the number 4, it would be backwards, which I agree with. But if anybody out there knows what the heck this is, please help me.
And it's a solid piece. It's not that the shaft on that is solid. It's not hollow or anything.
This thing weighs quite a bit. It's heavy. It's heavy.
You know what? Send a picture to Buckle Boy. He's a really good idea too. Maybe he'll know.
Yeah, but other than that,
the only thing I know about it for sure is it's 100% not what you claim it to be.
Hey, what if it was a dyslexic fishing weight mold?
No, it would be the smallest. I mean, it would be so impractical to make 2 at a time like that.
Yeah, but other than that, man, I love having you guys up here. We all seem to mesh pretty well, and we find some great stuff. And I love having you guys around, and I love seeing you excited to find some stuff that maybe you don't find in your normal area. Other than that, man, I'm just glad to call you guys friends and to hunt with you and have fun.
I appreciate it. And we had an awesome time. Thank you very much. Steph, I'll give you your plug also. Steph's got all 3 of the videos out, including the one that I did not put out yet. You guys are welcome to go watch it. It's a different perspective. Even though some of the finds may be similar, it's fun to see different angles, different perspectives. There's things in mine that aren't hers, yada, yada, yada. But you're welcome to see it. Steph's best find of the whole trip was in the 3rd video, as well as Doug's best find of the whole trip. So there's still a lot more goodies to go. And even though Brad says he didn't find anything good, I filmed something of Brad's in day 3 that I thought was pretty good.
What was it?
Well, you have to watch Tuesday and see. I'm not going to spoil it.
I didn't even tag him in that video because he was only in the video. You can tag people in the description, whatever. And I didn't even tag the channel because he was in it for literally half a second and walked away as I was filming Doug's best find.
Yeah. Brad was way in the back, so I didn't see him. But he did come up for a little bit after your find, and I asked him what he had, and he opened up his little case, and there was something in there that I thought was pretty cool.
I don't.
Was it the farming thing?
No.
The horseback?
I don't want to say what it was, but it was something. Do you want me to whisper it to you?
Yeah, whisper it. Was it a?
It was a matchstick case.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I didn't do cartwheels in the field over it, but I thought it was cool.
You might see that in tomorrow's vlog video.
Okay, we might see it. Yeah, we might see it. Whatever it is, I'm not going to tell the audience what it was. But no, there was some good stuff. So Steph's, again, if you guys didn't watch it, Stef Digs on YouTube has hundreds and hundreds of videos out. Of course, Green Mountain metal detecting, hundreds and hundreds of videos out. Erik, the Cape Codfather, 3-4 videos out, whatever it is.
Like 2 or 3 crappy shorts and some history lessons.
Somewhere. You got to start somewhere.
Hey.
You know what? When Brad had 3 videos out, guess how many he had so far?
Oh, God, Lord, help us.
Yeah, 3. I busted Brad's chops because Brad's very first video, when he was new, at least his very first one that's up there, he was like using profanity because he's so new, like he didn't realize. Now, obviously he learned and you don't do that anymore, but it's very rare, even off camera, that Brad uses language like that. Very, very rare. So
don't start talking about language or you're going to get a chat.
No, yeah. Right. Just make sure you watch that red box, Steph. We're still live.
I know. I'm never going to make that mistake again. Famous last words, but it will never happen again. Much disappointment in the chat right now. It's not going to happen again. No. I thought of maybe like doing a spoof, like, doing a prank or something, like coordinating this ahead of time and saying, hey, kick me off camera. And then I'm going to ask to come back and I'm going to say, like, start to say something and then you cut me off and say, all right, she's never allowed back. But
from now on, when he wants to leave for the night, oh, look at that. Very nice.
It's Brady.
That's Brady.
I had a cat over here a moment ago, but he's already left.
Oh, cat show and tell. Let's go.
What do you got? What do you got, Brad?
I was just kidding.
But you do have cats, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Brad, that's a cat.
That's
a cat.
It's like a dog.
It kind of looks
that is an ugly cat.
Wait a minute. That is not a cat. Hold on. Wait.
Where is Erik full screen? We should see Oscar.
That's a cat.
Something's wrong with your cat.
Hold that up high.
Yeah. He's doing his dog impersonation.
Okay.
We're going to keep it decent. No higher than that.
And what's his name? Grooch?
Oscar.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Oscar the Grooch.
Yeah, we were talking about Oscar the Grooch before.
Yeah,
you're ready.
Okay.
Yep.
We were at a place the other day. They had about 20 dogs, and one of them, the noisiest one, was named Bob Barker.
Yeah, Bob Barker.
Fitting. Now this guy's pretty quiet unless Amazon is in the driveway, which can happen almost every day. So,
can I plug something?
Absolutely. What do you got to plug, Doug?
Anybody that isn't on the DogTag Doug Facebook page, come on over, join the group. And I want to thank a couple individuals. Frank Harvey, I hope he's in the chat.
Oh, do you have the dog? I'll bring it up full screen. Do you have it with you, Doug?
And Chad LaFleur both sent me some very nice
Doug, why does it look like your head is floating?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Your body.
Just call me Bob.
Yeah. The lighting is just weird. It looks like you're just like a random head floating around.
Yeah.
I
do Halloween parties.
Do you have the thing to hold up, or you don't have the thing?
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, DogTag Doug's dog collar. He got mailed. He gets mailed a lot of them. He got it mailed. His oldest one ever. That was
1882.
Hey, look at that, Doug. You got it. Nick just asked to join your group.
Did she?
Oh, look at that, Doug.
All right, Nick.
Nicholas.
Yeah. And I think I can actually add people. I don't know what you did, but I think I can actually add her. Yeah, I can approve her.
Oh, Steph's an admin on your group, Doug?
No, there are some groups where you can, depending on how you have the settings, you can actually let members approve people. So I just approved her. So you just
okay.
Oh, cool.
Doug didn't mean to do the approve everyone. He just doesn't know what he's doing on Facebook, and I don't
exactly.
usually know.
But
there's a way to change it. There's a way to change it for sure. And
I know there is, but I don't know it, and Doug never looked into it. So
look, I'm a technical misfit. You guys make me look like a bum in the park, but I do read everybody's post. I'm really excited about a lot of the things I see posted as finds. So, share them with us. We'd love to see.
Not kidding. He comments on like everything in there. He might, just be in the bathroom looking at every day and commenting. I can see you doing that.
And a lot of them are funny, and or at least try to be funny, like Jay. But
always a thoughtful comment, though. You always.
I give some very thoughtful comments at times.
Yeah,
I can
comment on thoughtfully. Check out the DogTag Doug Facebook page, and whatever you put up there, Doug will give a thoughtful comment. Is that
yes.
Okay. I like it. It's like a Hallmark card, Doug. I'm impressed.
Yeah. It's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So check that out.
We might have a record for the longest show.
Yeah, we're going to wind this up. I'm tired. It's been really late.
Look, you three will be talking until 2:00 in the morning.
No, not too.
Actually, I kid you not, making dinner because I didn't want to eat before the show. We usually eat late anyway, and nobody has to get up early tomorrow. So.
Right.
Was there any reason behind that?
Is Nick decent? Can she make a cameo or no?
Hey, Nick, come here.
Okay, make a cameo. Nick's in a few videos of mine. She's in a lot of Stef Digs videos.
Let me mute this so I'm not shouting over you guys.
She had a killer. Remember that dandy button she got at
Yeah, I still haven't put that video out, even though it's from like 9 months ago. It's probably going to be an upcoming on Sunday.
You put that out. That was the same video I found that Curdle Bell.
Oh, I'm thinking of that third day in the field. I didn't put that where we met Tyler.
Yeah.
I've been putting short videos out on Sunday that I call shorter quarter hoarder, Brad.
Yeah.
Like that?
Love it.
Yeah. So it might be one of that. There's Nick. Let me bring up Nick.
We have to wait for the dogs to start barking.
Nice hold on. Let me bring. Wait, where's
Hey, Nick.
There they are. Nick, I wanted to stop the show 45 minutes ago, but I was waiting for you to get home so we could all say hello.
I've been here.
Yep, she's cooking, doing some cleaning stuff. What are you doing right now? Cooking. Yes. Well, I mean, I smell that, but I thought you were doing something else too.
Cooking is enough.
Being productive, anyway.
Yep, she always is. She's a hard worker. She probably worked all day too. She's a hard worker, Nick.
Did you see that I showed the entire live stream that Nicola Holcomb requested to join DogTag Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome. Just putting a full name out of there for no reason at all. But yeah, so we're sad.
I hope you come join us on the next trip.
Yeah,
we really do.
Yeah,
we missed you. We missed having you on this last one.
Yeah, we'll do a big one. We'll do like a big. I was going to say if Brad brought Eddie and you brought Nick and I have Doug and you have Tyler, we'd all have two teams. And I was going to say we could all do a big gang. The word that rhymes, but I realized that's not what I meant. I mean, like a.
And I'm the one with the foul mouth in here. Come on, guys.
Yeah. My brain realized what I was going to say.
A big dig off competition.
Something, like a team, whatever.
Good old fashioned New Jersey dig off.
Yeah, old fashioned New Jersey dig off that you can see live tomorrow not live, but
we can have like the Pennsylvania, New Jersey scum against. I'm just kidding. Against the New England class.
Well, that's a way to get an invite down here.
Yeah.
I think I'm busy that day.
All right, we're out of this joint. I'm tired, my throat's sore. So Brad, Erik, Doug, Steph, and Nicola, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out all night long. Make sure you check out all the above channels we mentioned before. And otherwise, we're going to go out of here. So, hey. Thank you for watching, everybody. Happy hunting, and we'll see you on the next one. Brad, you want to do my key takeoff?
Later.
Later, guys.